Live, sir. Can you stop with the nasty? Oh well, they almost heard it. They almost heard the disgustingness that was going on in this back room. What is up, y'all? This DPS podcast, damage per second podcast. Just ignore what Forte just said. This is a family show. Episode 102. We are back once again. Can I do the intro?
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Episode 102. We are back once again with a special guest that I don't even know if this is like if Di could really be a special guest at this point. Like, you've been on the show like 7 times now.
17 times now, actually.
Yeah, you're not a special guest. You're a special extra panel member at this point or something.
He's
So
a legit third wheel that has an invitation to come anytime he wants.
exactly, man. You have a key to the house. You can just come on through. Go ahead and get some beer out the fridge. Do what you want. Be relaxed. It's your place too. You
don't let the dog pee on the carpet when you let him out the cage.
Hey, I can stick by rules. I'm not a heathen.
Oh, that's what's up.
But yeah, of course, to do a proper introduction, we have returning guest Agent Deli in the house. Ex developer from Ubisoft, has worked on Watch Dogs Legion, has worked on a lot of other secret projects for big trillion-dollar corporations. There's only like 4 of them out there, so you can pretty guess which one.
Yeah, you can narrow it down. Yeah. Yes, it's your favorite Ubisoft employee. Hello, welcome. Now I hang out on DPS. Thanks for having me back. It's been a while. It's been several weeks since I've been on any podcast, actually, so it's very, very nice. It's been a little bit hectic for me, but I've had much needed on our time. So yeah.
Cool. Glad to have you back, man. We definitely would love to have your insight on some of these topics that the rest of us really can't really relate to, the kind of like knowledge and experience that you have. So definitely, like, some of these topics you definitely going to have a big focus on. Forte, gaming. Forte.
Yo.
Who tried to tell me I was late?
You was.
To the show.
Did the show start on time?
It actually did. It started at 8:45.
So when I say it started at 8:45, but I don't click that button to flip it over until 9:02, it's late. When you do it
at 8:45, we went live with a nice starting soon music and a countdown, and I went and help my son. I helped my son get some homework done, and then I come back.
That clock had 000 or quadruple zeros for about a minute after the intro.
Maybe not.
There you go.
Regardless, how you been, bro?
I've been good, man. I had a day off yesterday. My 3rd day off since August 21st, which is crazy. But guess what, Slow-Mo? Next week, we back to a regular scheduled program. Your boy gets back to 2 days off a week. And oh my God, I am going to take advantage of that. But man, outside of that, man, it's just been great.
So you crunching right now?
I'm crunching real hard. Like,
how long you been crunching for, man? Was it a few weeks now? What was it? A few months?
Actually,
a few years?
It's been actually 32 days as of right now.
32 days of crunch.
I done worked 29 of the last 32 days. So on an average of I want to say probably an average of 10 to 11 hours a day.
Working long hours and working hard, at least on some things. I ain't gonna say nothing else, right? Interesting. The reason why I brought up how long you've been crunching is that would you consider that extreme crunch or just regular crunch?
Oh, that's extreme crunch. Don't nobody want to crunch like this. Who wants to work 29 to 32 straight days at a 10 to 11 hour clip? Don't you want to go home and go to sleep and play games every once in a while? So yeah, that's extreme. For me, it is at least.
Wait,
No,
don't.
you have my utmost respect if you just came in on Saturday for me, Forte.
Yeah.
Like, if you just come in and pick up an extra shift on Saturday, we really need you. I would really love that.
No. I already picked up 2 extra shifts. Of those 3 days off, 2 of those weeks were 7 days, and those were 14 days straight. So I'm good.
Well,
But no,
I will say though, like compared
others,
to game developers, I mean, like you
it's
said, 30.
nothing.
Yeah, that's nothing, right? 32
That's
weeks.
nothing. What you talking about? They've been crunching since 2017.
Yeah, I've been crunching since Bush was president.
Right. that I had a dream speech. I was crunching during that time too. And we all know how long ago that was.
Oh man. Well, I mean, before we get too far, yeah, look, I don't want to keep die way too long here. We're gonna try to breeze through these topics as expeditiously as possible. But I did want to get what you guys have been playing and what you guys will recommend you play. So Deli, I'll start with you, man. What have you been playing and what do you recommend people play?
I've been playing Toem, and I
You said Totem?
Toem.
Toem. Okay.
EM. It's like a little indie game where you run around and you take photos inside the world. So it's like a 2D game, and then when you turn the camera on, it becomes like a 3D game. It's kind of like Fez. You can like turn the world. It's a little black and white game, and it's like Pokemon, but for photographers. And it's a very nice, serene, relaxing game. Played it for a couple hours not too long ago, like last week. And then I played Little Nightmares. That was a whole lot of fun as well too.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good stuff about Little Nightmares.
Yeah, I did too.
I think I played it, right? Isn't it like you're a little girl, right?
Yeah, you're like a little girl in a rain jacket.
Oh my gosh, I remember now at the ending. Never mind, I have nothing to say. I'm not saying anything. Go
Very
ahead.
Good. I've been playing Tekken 7 as my fighting game of choice, or my competitive game of choice. Yes, I am. I'm prepping.
I know.
Yeah.
Prepping for 8. 8 looks good. I mean, I don't
great,
even like
bro.
fighting games. I'm already like, man, this looks pretty sweet.
I can't wait to like buy it for $60 and play it for like 2 hours and then put it down.
That is what we do here in gaming, isn't it?
And then God of War. I've been replaying God of War. So yeah.
Oh
That's
yeah.
a lot of fun.
That's definitely on my list of things to do in October because I kind of want to make it as close to Ragnarok as possible. Like I might probably even do it like at like the last week of September, just so that like it's super fresh in my mind as I wrote, as you know, like I think God of War Ragnarok is November 9th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to be as close as possible to the release date of Ragnarok. So, Forte is gonna buy it for me, of course.
Oh.
Yeah, that's true.
he knows. Like, so this is what we discussed. Did we discuss this live, or are we talking offline when we
were talking offline.
All right, so
in the lobby of Fortnite when this was going on.
All right, so this is perfect. This is absolutely perfect. So the whole DPS community and the 10%ers can hear this. So like Forte claims, right, that I should wait until the year is up before he owes me one full price game. And I said, you already know you're not going to, if I didn't beat any more games right now, you wouldn't catch up to me. So this is what we had as an agreement. If he can at least hit, what was it 10 games?
10 games. I'm already at 5, but 10, I had to hit 5 more before Ragnarok.
Yeah, if he doesn't hit 10 games beat by November 9th, then he's got to buy me God of War Ragnarok. He concedes and he's gonna buy me God of War Ragnarok. If he does hit 10, then I'll just wait until January to get my game. There's stuff coming out in January, so I'm fine with that too. So.
I'll probably still lose anyways, and I'll probably still buy you the game. But
you already know. this is the funny thing.
I have the utmost faith in you, so I believe it. Godspeed, Forte.
It's not hard to do. You just gotta put that. Listen, man. Once I started making Destiny content, it's even harder to put the game down because you got to stay consistent with that. So slow mo, pretty much. That's the only reason I almost conceded it to him. I was like, man,
I'm already at, and this is the least amount of games I've beaten in like probably about 4 years. I'm at 20 games beat this year.
Yeah.
So like I'm normally at this point, I'm somewhere in the 30s. So 20 games beat in September. I could probably still end up finishing at 30.
You'll end like another at least 5 on there.
At least. Like I'm at.
I said I've beat 1 game this year. 2 games. I beat Saints Row and The Quarry.
You didn't beat Call of the Lamb?
No, not yet.
Oh man.
I'm trying to get the platinum trophy. So
Well,
I'm trying to do it in 1 run. Yeah.
He's feeling somber because all his friends are in a ditch somewhere.
Call of the Lamb. I got annoyed near the end because like it's like you need 20 members of your cult to activate the final like mission or the final boss, and I kept getting like 18 and 19, and then somebody would die of old age, or like I would have to sacrifice someone or something. I'm just like, man, every time. And so like I think there is, you can, near the end there's like this place where there's like gold everywhere, and I it's been a minute since I played it, but I think I got a bunch of followers. Like I think I bought some followers to get to 20 from there. I can't remember exactly, but I think it was something like that. But yeah, that ending, well, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. I like the boss fights for Call of the Lamb. They were pretty decent. I'm close to beating a game called Immortality. I talked about it last week. Sam Harlow, I think is his name. Yeah, Sam Harlow, that did Her Story and what's the other game that he did that was really popular? Well, Her Story is a big one, and then there's Telling Lies. So he's got another game out called Immortality, and I it's a little bit different than his other games. There's like it's kind of more of a puzzle to get figured out, like find the right order of events to kind of unlock everything that happened in the story. But once I beat that, then I could kind of like start really like getting into some of these other games that I've been kind of putting off. Shout out to Enrique, Basement Radio Arcade Podcast, with the $2 super chat. He says Carson Wentz playing like an MVP.
I knew I should have started him today in my fantasy
Oh my
league.
god! Like he's not playing like an MVP. Okay, look, you watch the games. Look, don't look at stats. His stats look good.
Listen, he lost to the Lions last week.
Exactly, right? I mean, that's like in the first half, he did nothing. But throw a pick and look really bad and take a bunch of sacks. But I will admit he's looked better than I thought he would. But let's not get bogged down into football tonight. I'm not trying to be too far off topic. For me, I'm sorry, Forte, what games have you been playing outside of Destiny, and what do you recommend?
Right now I am still doing my God of War playthrough on PC. I'm doing I played a lot of the Call of Duty beta, which is really cool. I actually really like it. I've been
hearing a lot of, the two of you like it. All right,
man, I love it. I love it. I cannot get enough.
I really like it.
I literally I got up at like 7:30 today, and I waited until 1. I was
it's still live. I thought it wasn't live until the weekend.
No, it's live. It's live right now for everybody now.
Oh,
early access for all platforms, and then PlayStation again.
Yep, exactly.
So I'm playing on PlayStation, and then on PC it'll be open to all platforms for everybody, open beta on Saturday. So I'll play it on PC on Saturday.
Okay. Enrique with the other $2 super chat says, Slow-mo, what shooter is that? I don't know if you mean the gameplay that's playing. The gameplay that's playing is Rogue Company, but what Deli and Forte are talking about is Modern Warfare 2. Now, the reason why I brought that up because I found it interesting. I don't care about COD like at all, right? But I've seen. What I have found interesting is the dialogue from Call of Duty fans and people who are somewhat like casual Call. They're like Forte's casual Call of Duty fan. Deli, I don't know whether you're casual or not. Are you big Call of Duty fan or casual Call of Duty fan? What would you call yourself?
I used to play a whole lot when I was in school, and then I stopped these last. I stopped since like 2015.
Oh, okay, so you're casual at this point.
Yeah, I'm super casual at this point. I don't play Call of Duty League anymore. I don't do any competing or anything like that.
Okay, so like I think I've seen this divide between the hardcore Call of Duty player that plays it like daily or semi-daily, that seem to be very upset with the way Call of Duty this year's edition of Call of Duty is, with changes with like perks, time to kill. I can't remember all of the complaints, but there's been a lot of complaints. The loud footsteps, they said, and so they kind of feel like it's been casualized. Whereas I see casual Call of Duty players like, man, I'm having fun. So I guess it's an interesting conversation. It reminds me a lot of like how like the Halo community is, where like the hardcore Halo player doesn't want too much change, doesn't want it to adopt too many of the features or changes that you see in other typical shooters. But then like the more casual or newer Halo players are like, nah, fam, I like add this, add that. We want more ADS or more guns and things like that, right? So it's interesting to me, that whole dialogue. Now, Deli, what do you think about when you see some of the I guess the commentary from people about Call of Duty that they don't like this year's game and for the reasons? What do you think about that when you see it?
Well, I always say that for specifically Call of Duty, when you sell your franchise on a specific shape, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's been that shape for like 15 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And recently, these last couple iterations, they've been kind of pushing for innovation. And we've seen things like more, Call of Duty League, leaderboards being a little bit more updated, variety of different modes, X and Y. There's been a bunch of different things that are fine-tuned and balanced within the last 3 or 4 years. So now, instead of selling the franchise on a specific shape, they're now selling the franchise on innovation.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I don't mind it, because I'm kind of tired of playing, like, as much as I love it, I'm kind of tired of playing the same Call of Duty for 15 years, right?
Okay.
Like, I'm, like when I was younger, yeah, it was a whole lot of fun. Like, I got to play all day, 8 hours a day, jump around corners and stuff like that, doing quick scopes. And then now it's like, the video game industry is in a totally different space now. The casual audience it takes up about 68%, almost 70. Let's round it to 70% of all video game players are casual.
Right.
To ignore that is, I don't get it. You know what I mean?
It would be a bad idea, of course.
It would be a terrible idea.
Yeah.
But at the same time, again, you cannot sell your franchise on a specific shape and then these last couple of years say, hey, we're going to innovate, hey, we're going to change things, hey, we're going to move forward, and then go, actually, no, we're not. We're going to listen to the community and go back to the same thing and go back to whatever it is that we're so used to, which is unfortunately jumping around corners and playing the game like Titanfall.
Yeah.
I think personally, any people are getting whooped and they're upset, right? So personally, to me, I think so, because for anybody who plays like Call of Duty League and stuff like that, like genuinely seriously plays, like the radar is not that big of a deal, right? Because they're communicating with people, they understand the maps and where the spawns are, they understand where their teammates are in relation to them, right? A quick glance at the radar can do that, right?
Right.
Perks. Half the perks doesn't even matter, because when you're communicating, you really only ever run one perk package, which is battle hardened for less damage on stuns and flashes. There's another one for for explosive damage, and then you run scavenger, and then you run like something like ghost for kill streaks. But half the time when you're playing Call of Duty League, there are dedicated people who are fraggers, and then there's dedicated people who are anchors that play support and stuff like that. So when you have a dedicated team and you're actually playing seriously, none of this stuff matters. Because if you look at the pros, the only thing the pros are complaining about is the radar. That's it.
That's true.
They don't care about the perk packages. They don't care that Dead Silence isn't a perk, because Dead Silence hasn't been a perk in 3 years. All right, it's 2022. They removed that in 2019 or possibly 2018. It's been almost 4 years, and you guys are still complaining about it. It's not going to change. And then on top of that, like, the radar is just a classic radar. That's perfectly fine, but nobody wants to say that they have the option to go for a circular radar, which is actually less visibility on the map than the square radar. Why that's an option, I have no idea. Nobody says anything about that. There are options in the game that you can select that bring it back to old school, and old school is significantly worse off than people remember it. I went back and played Black Ops pretty recently. Like, I streamed it 2 weeks ago or something like that. Flinch is ridiculous. The camos actually work there. What's it called? Like, it takes half a mag to kill somebody. Like,
Yeah.
I think people are really confused about how Call of Duty used to be versus how Call of Duty is. Because Call of Duty used to be, you only get one attachment. Call of Duty used to be, you only get three perks. You know, Call of Duty used to be, they're pro perks now, right? So people are asking for that stuff back, and that's perfectly fine. I'm okay with that stuff, right? And I'm okay with the radar being off, or I'm okay with the radar being on, because at the end of the day, it doesn't affect me, right? When you're playing Call of Duty League, that stuff's off until you have a UAV anyways. UAV is 4 kills, change it back to 3 kills, life's great. But to me, I think people are getting cooked online, and then they're like, well, this is not good anymore. Well, the reality of it is there's a slight delay between sprinting around corners in a combat ready state. And before, in 2019 in Vanguard, that delay was something like half a second, right? Just a generic number. I don't know if it's actually half a second. And now it's a full second. So now people are playing it like 2019, like Vanguard, like Black Ops Cold War. And then they're upset that they're getting cooked playing Titanfall 2, jump around corners and stuff. When in reality, all you have to do is just slow down a little bit. All you have to do is have an ounce of forethought, an ounce of pre-planning, an ounce of, hey, instead of running around and sprinting around these corners like we used to, how about we just walk around the corners? I understand that that's something like people complain that's like, oh, that's more tactical gameplay. But I don't really see that, because a lot of my gameplay, I'm still putting over a 2 KD in the majority of my games, or close to it. And I sprint in open areas and to cover. But other than that, I am walking around. And I don't understand how, like, I can pull, a casual player can pull 2 KD and get multi-kills and stuff like that. But the hardcore players that are actually, like, way better than me are pulling, you know, below my KD and then complaining, hey, you know, this game is bad.
Because they're not used to playing the game in a more controlled, slower way compared to people that are just getting back into it. You know, they're like running around with their heads cut off because that's how they're used to Call of Duty being, where it's a little bit more, if you play the game a little bit slower, you can, you know, post those high KD games. People just aren't used to that type of way that the game is being played right now. And it's not to say at some point it's not going to be faster, but at this point, everybody's still trying to figure out like all of the systems in the game and everything. So it's not really doing those people any favors that normally just can pick up a controller, turn on Call of Duty, and just frag out, because every Call of Duty is kind of the same. Like you said, a lot of the systems and stuff has changed. Like the ready up state of running around a corner and being ready to be in a gunfight is significantly slower in this game than it is in previous games. Like, you could just snap to a target so fast in Call of Duties before this, and I think that's kind of shocking to a lot of people all of a sudden now. And I think that's the biggest reason why people are like, I don't really like the way that this is playing, because you're just not able to persist and play the way that you were always able to do before,
which is recklessly.
So you guys,
exactly.
I mean, the sum of what you guys are saying is that dudes just need to adjust. They need to adapt to the new gameplay. Look, I definitely understand that. Look, I'm showing Rogue Company gameplay right now. The character I'm using is Anvil. I used to hate this character when the game first came out, I thought he was trash. I thought he sucked. I thought his guns were awful. I thought everything was awful. They've made a lot of changes to the game since it first launched. They've added attributes to the character. Some of them are a bit tougher and can take more damage than others. Some of them are faster than others. And they've added more perks to kind of like accentuate some of the talents that some of these characters have. I found a way to play with Anvil where I'm just absolutely molly-whopping everyone. In the gameplay here, I got like 35 kills in this game. And last night I posted on Twitter where I had nearly 50 kills and 10,000 damage in one match. And I basically just carried the whole team on my back because my team was trash. And I was going up against a full stack. And we came back and won after being down 0-2. So it's just like, I adjusted because I was usually used to playing with Phantom, with Lancer, with other like rogues. But then once I started to see that like they make changes, some of the characters I used to run with got nerfed. I started to branch out. Now I'm starting to use like pump shotguns, which I used to almost exclusively never use a shotgun ever. Now I'm using shotguns in the game. Like you have to adapt to what happens in the game and the changes that game makes. And I don't think what's going on in the COD community right now is uncommon. I think it happens in every single video game that has online multiplayer. I saw it with The Division, where the guys that ran around the dark zone with the same striker builds, run up close and gun everyone down, DPS, glass cannon builds, would get upset whenever they would introduce new gear sets that messed up the meta, because you can't get up close to someone when another guy's got a dead-eye gear set and he's sniping you from 2 blocks away. But that's the game. That's the gear sets they put in the game. Like people were calling for nerfs just so that they wouldn't have to adjust their build. And it's just like, no, you want other people's build to be nerfed because you can't adjust? That's on you, you know? So it's just, I think, I do agree with what you guys are saying to that. Like, people need to, like, people need to adjust if they want to continue to keep playing the game. I'm not saying that you have to like the changes that are made, right? What I'm saying is that if you want to continue to keep playing this game, you're going to have to make some adjustments to dominate the way that you used to dominate. And if that's not you, and if you don't want to do that, then the game maybe it's just no longer for you, which is also okay. You know, and it's cool to go try something different. There are plenty of shooters out there that, you know, new shooters come out every day, B. I played a shooter. I'm going to show some gameplay. I might as well show the gameplay for it now. This game called Shatterline, yeah, and it's I think it just came out this month. It's interesting. It's different. It's kind of like a mix of Overwatch with the way the abilities are. I think the gunplay is a little lacking, but it's not terrible. It's not a terrible game. I'm kind of enjoying it a little bit, but playing with a couple of friends. And clearly there's like, it's already got like a lot of people who are like super dedicated to it, because like they've unlocked all the weapons, all the mods, and I'm just like, how do you have, like, I'm still on level 2 with the weapons, you on level 6? How did you do that, right? But it's, you know, like, trying new things is there's nothing wrong with that. Like, unfortunately, you know, things don't always stay the same, which is always what I said in regards to this whole entire Activision Blizzard acquisition thing, which we're going to get into later, because, you know, Satya Nadella out here, you know, he want all the smoke. He looking for a huckleberry.
Yeah,
but Call of Duty isn't guaranteed to be as dominant in 2027 as it is right now, or the past 5 years. There's no guarantee for it to stay that way. As the game evolves, as game changes, as new generations of gamers come into gaming, people are going to tend to have different interests. And already, an arena shooter, an arena shooter like the annual COD is already not as popular as your battle royales, your Fortnites, your Apex Legends, I would say even a hero shooter like Valorant. it's more popular than COD if you think about like how many people play it like consistently and on a concurrent player basis. So it's just I find it fascinating that people think COD will remain the way it is, for forever. It's just not. I don't see that that's to be reality. If that was reality, Halo would still be the king of first-person shooters, and clearly it's not. But I guess it was actually a nice little side topic there. I didn't think that we would we would get into that, but I appreciate the conversation. I appreciate you guys' thoughts on
no
Call of
problem.
Duty.
I mean, recently today, the only thing I'm gonna say is recently today, my SBM got jumped, and I'm getting into lobbies with people that are jumping around corners and playing super aggressively, and it's just feels exactly like Call of Duty. And so I don't understand what people are complaining about. Honestly, I'm getting cooked by people jumping around corners and diving and slide canceling and stuff. Feels exactly the same as 2019 me.
Yeah, and look, yeah, I think a lot of it is people don't like the adjustments, and they say I'm done with the game, but then they'll come back. they come back. I mean, look, I say that I wouldn't play Halo anymore until certain things happened, and I've reinstalled Halo Infinite. I haven't played it yet, but I reinstalled it.
You reinstalled it?
I reinstalled it because when they made I said I had my man on my word. I said I wasn't going back to Halo Infinite until DSync is fixed, until some real content shows up. But the biggest thing about that was the change in leadership, and they made the change in leadership, so I will at least reinstall the game, so I'm free to come back eventually. I don't know, it depends on how to be some people to play with, but I'm there to come back to it at this point now because they made changes. But we can go ahead and get into this first topic. Before we do that, I completely forgot. Sorry about this. That guy Smitty with the 5 months membership of the DPS class said, showing love. Teams playing right now. Catch the replay. He must have meant. It must be talking about football, which is I understand. I get it. If my team was playing right now, I might have to have my son up here, my 12-year-old son up here, trying to host the show. I was watching football. Actually, never mind. I wouldn't, because I'm a Commanders fan, and we definitely would be losing. But we get into this first topic here. So the first topic on the agenda is EA motive to make an Iron Man game. So this was actually rumored. A shout out to our homie Jeff Grubb, who I think Jeff Grubb was the first person to break this information. This had to have been a few weeks ago, maybe a few months ago. I do recall him first talking about this a little while ago, but he first broke the information. And I remember kind of like he didn't necessarily say it was an Iron Man game, but I think he maybe alluded to it. And I was just kind of like, well, I don't understand why everyone thinks it's just an Iron Man game just because of Anthem. Like Anthem isn't exactly like.
But the building blocks were there though, bro.
Yeah, but even then, EA motive is like BioWare isn't doing it. EA motive is doing it. So like, there's still the possibility that like they're not even going to use any of the assets that are in there, the really good assets of flying in a mech kind of suit, kind of like an Iron Man suit that Anthem has. Although like I think that would be a really good idea to take something that's not being used whatsoever, just sitting collecting dust on servers, on EA servers, and actually put it to use. But I guess I'll start with you. With you, Deli, what are your thoughts on an Iron Man game being made by EA?
Well, I mean, I think that they have the capacity to make an Iron Man game. I mean, we saw one several years ago. And I think that if they reuse the code, reuse some of the assets, just even talk to the people that made it, I think that it would end up well. If anybody has the knowledge and the foundation to be able to convey an Iron Man game properly, it would definitely be a studio under EA. So I have confidence, which is something I don't give out too often, but I have confidence. And I hope that when we see something exciting in the near future, that it'll be just as cool as the one that came out in like 2008 or 2009, right?
Yeah, I just wanted to I pulled up the article and I just wanted to say something. Speak on a couple of parts here. It says, developed in collaboration with Marvel Games, the game will feature an original narrative that taps into the rich history of Iron Man, channeling the complexity, charisma, and creative genius of Tony Stark, and enabling players to feel what it's like to truly play as Iron Man. Forte, this is my question for you, Forte.
Yo.
Isn't it great to actually play as the character that everyone loves?
Oh, absolutely.
Why couldn't they do that with you know I'm about to go, right?
Yeah,
why couldn't they do this with Black Panther? Why are you not playing as T'Challa for Black Panther? Like, I don't understand. But like, hey, they're giving us Tony Stark, which that's a smart move. I just don't understand why this smart move isn't being reciprocated among all the other EA studios that's working on Marvel games. But what are your thoughts on that, man? A completely original story featuring Tony Stark.
I mean, it honestly just really comes back to the fact that they've been probably working on this for quite some time and stuff. A lot of people are really excited for what they can actually see when it comes to like this. I do think that didn't they pull some people off the Anthem team to work on this game too? If I remember reading stuff about it, because there are some people that moved over because they do have some type of familiarity with just the systems and stuff. That's why I think that they're going to be able to use some of the tech. I don't think they're going to use everything, but I do think there's an opportunity for it. I mean, why wouldn't they? I mean, everybody was thinking it was an Iron Man game to begin with in the first place. So part of me feels like this is their way of like not completely, leaving the game behind and actually finding a way to actually make some use of the assets that they actually have there. And they could just do it in a setting with something like Tony Stark, and when it comes to the Marvel IP, because that's one of the most, loved characters out there that people really cared about, especially if you go off what the original MCU was.
I did not know that. So you said they've actually got people who from BioWare who worked on Anthem
actually worked on Anthem, yeah.
See, now if I would have known that, I would have been playing some Anthem gameplay right now. I don't think I got any Anthem. Let me see if I got any Anthem gameplay.
Oh man, don't worry about that, man.
Yeah, I might have something. Might have a little something to tuck.
That stuff on your hard drive?
Hey, no, it's going to be on my extended storage. Like my
yeah. The backup to the backup.
And the backup to the backup. I'm not keeping that stuff on. On limited. No, I don't have any Anthem. I must have deleted it all. If I would have realized, I would have reinstalled the game and then played a few minutes of it, by myself, because clearly there'll be no one joining me. Hey, although I don't know, Anthem might still have more players than Babylon's Fall. Live. Who knows,
shout
right?
out to Babylon's Fall, man.
But no, this is look, I don't know when this game is coming out, but I'm looking forward to it. I think I like Iron Man, of course. I do think that one of the highlights of Anthem was the flying, the animation of and just like the whole game design, the suits and how although I think they could probably cut out the whole cooldowns, because it seemed like in Anthem with the suits, like you could only really fly for maybe like a certain period of time before you would overheat and you would need to go under through waterfalls,
right?
Or find some way to cool your suit down so that you didn't overheat. Just cut that out, right? Mm-hmm. And then base all that combat off of if you did it based off of say the storm javelin, that seemed to be basically his gameplay. The Storm Javelin's gameplay was mostly just a lot of ranged attacks and staying in the air, and a lot of vertical combat. I think that would be perfect. well, at least perfect for the kind of game that they're looks like they're working on, and I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I think that's all I got for this. You guys ain't got anything else to say before we move on?
I think it's gonna be good, man.
Yeah, I think I have faith. Yeah, I'm just waiting to see something. I don't want to jump the gun too quickly.
I got you. I agree with that. And even though EA seemed to kind of turn over a new leaf with allowing developers more creative freedom, not necessarily forcing the same things upon them that that has been successful for other IP like Madden and FIFA, but wouldn't be successful for a completely different kind of genre. All that said, not everything is going to be Jedi Fallen Order. Just like that's just the reality of it. So I mean, I'm looking forward to it, but I'm trying to keep my expectations as realistic as possible. I think you guys will agree with that. Moving on, we could guess move on to this might be a bit of a conversation. Logitech. So Logitech has announced, was this yesterday?
It was yesterday.
Yeah, they announced a handheld, but it's a cloud handheld. All cloud. No actual hard drive or storage. You can't play it natively. What are our thoughts with this? Anybody? Forte?
It is a handheld Stadia device, and I'm going to be honest with you, $300 is a lot. It is
$350.
Oh, $350, my bad.
Yes,
well,
$350.
It's on sale. I went to the Logitech website, and it is $50 off. It is on sale, my friend.
Already?
So so for $300, you can get the Logitech G Cloud handheld, and again, it is a wildly, I think it's a tone deaf, like out of touch product, to be honest with you. $350 for a cloud device, cloud streaming device.
Mm-hmm.
This is almost as bad as the Nvidia Shield, and I think it's just a tone deaf product. I think the price point is wrong. I think it's just a cheap gimmick for handhelds, and not only do we have to buy the handheld, we have to buy the subscription as well too. If you're not subscribed to something like Game Pass that offers cloud, or something like a Stadia that offers cloud gameplay. Again.
Okay. I see. I have the article. It says it does cost $350, but it's $300 if you pre-order it. That's why you saw it for $300.
Oh, okay. That's why. Okay. Well, I still think that for $299, I can get an Xbox Series S, and I get a hard drive with that, and that's a-okay. And I still have to own Game Pass, so why don't I get Game Pass and then have something that gives me exclusive games for the Xbox. There are several exclusive games specifically just for the Xbox, Crossfire X being one of them. Whether or not that you care about that game is irrelevant, right? If you have a subscription service, why buy the subscription service that is lacking in both an actual hard drive, exclusive stuff, if, again, mind you have to buy a cloud service for it, and on top of that, you're missing out on the physical form factor of an actual console or media entertainment system. Whereas the Logitech G Cloud, I don't know if you can do it like Steam Deck where you can turn it into a computer or whatever. As far as I'm aware, this is all you get.
Yeah,
you don't
wouldn't
get
be
streaming services. You don't get any extra stuff. This isn't a multimedia tablet thing,
right?
This isn't anything that your phone wouldn't innately do in the first place. I don't think you get as much freedom as you would get with a Steam Deck. Like, I have a Steam Deck. Like, this is like a non-starter for me personally, because I already have something that can and does use Xbox Cloud Gaming. I already got that set up. I did the whole procedure to get that set up and working, so I can play games through cloud through that, as well as play my Steam games actually installed on it
and I can also side load Windows 11 and then just play natively like my entire like Windows profile, Epic Game Store games and all that other stuff. Texas says it will have the Play Store, so I mean, but still you're still streaming games. And I think, well, first let me say something about the specs here, and then I'll get Forte's opinion on it before I say mine. But the specs and design, it says, it actually leaked last August. You'll be streaming games at 1080p up. I hate that up to. If you're gonna do 1080p, look, 60 frames needs to be a standard here, okay? But this is up to 60 frames per second on the 7-inch 450 nit touchscreen. It's a customized Android tablet housed inside a controller unit, offers haptic feedback, gyroscope controls, and all the buttons can be remapped. D-pad, face buttons, dual thumbsticks, basically everything we just saw. Bumpers and triggers, and yeah. So Forte, what are your thoughts on this?
I think you should just go out, and if you have a mobile phone, go buy a backbone, and if you don't have that, spend $150 to $200 more and get yourself a Steam Deck, and you have the best of both worlds. If you're buying this just strictly for something like Game Pass or something like that, you can use your phone, but if you get something like a Steam Deck, you can actually download the games directly to it. If you are a person that likes the Android ecosystem where you can download games and stuff like that, and natively play them with physical controls and stuff, you can do the same thing on the backbone with your phone. You can do the same thing with a Steam Deck by side loading Android right onto your actual unit and stuff. It doesn't make sense for me when it comes to a product, but I know there are people that this will speak to. If you're in one of those countries like Asia, Japan, South America or something, right. Not South America, like Korea and stuff, where
countries where they have great internet. They have great internet, and they are primarily mobile gamers. They play a lot. They like Nintendo is king, the Switch is king. They don't really tend to care about devices or hardware, gaming hardware that isn't, that they can't just pick up and go. Now, I did want to say something here that I just saw. It says it has 4 gigs of RAM, which I think is not enough at all.
Not enough.
What the heck is that? But I mean, look, if you're streaming it, even then, I think that's not enough, because like it basically tells me that you can't run anything else have anything else running concurrently with the game that you're playing. But this says it's also 64 gigs of storage, which is expandable through a micro SD slot. So what are you storing? If you're really playing games primarily, you're cloud streaming these games primarily. What is the storage? I don't know about that, but I don't know. It's interesting to me. An interesting product. I do kind of agree with you, Forte. I think this is not a product that is intended to do great in our region, in the United States.
It's like, because we always talk about, if you want to think about the most popular handheld in the United States outside of a cell phone, it's the Switch. And we always talk about people with Switches. Do you see people even in the busiest cities in the country, like New York or Chicago, where they have mass transit systems? Do you see people consistently all the time with a Nintendo Switch in their hand during their commute? Not really. You only see people really with their mobile phones and stuff like that. It's not to say that it doesn't happen, but it doesn't even happen with the most popular handheld that's here in the United States of America. So you kind of got to think, like, this country isn't really built on a foundation of playing games on the go when it comes to stuff like that, versus somewhere like Japan, where, like you said, great internet, mass transit everywhere. You can get on a train, and probably of the 20 people on there, you could probably see 7 or 8, maybe even half the people got some type of mobile device or handheld in their hand that they're playing some type of game or something on, because that just seems to be the norm in those regions of the world. That's where this is going to do well at, or it might even do really well. It's just going to be viable because first of all, it's LG, and I just don't know about LG. Like they make.
You mean Logitech?
Yeah, Logitech. Yeah,
I like Logitech. I
like them too, but I like them too, but I like them for cameras and keyboards, stuff like that.
I have a Logitech keyboard. It's freaking awesome. I actually had a Razer. I had a Razer keyboard, and I threw that crap away when I got this.
Yeah.
This is
I love Logitech when it comes to like their G Hub. I mean, outside of all of the functionality and the crashing and stuff is one thing. But
it's great when it works.
It's great when it works. That G Hub is great when it works. But that's a whole nother thing too. If you think about it, what's the update on this thing going to be like? Are you going to get? I mean, it's telling me that when you plug it up to your PC, you probably got to update it through G Hub, and we already know how G Hub can be. So I'm just kind of out on that. But I will say one thing that they did release recently that I got a chance to try is the new the Logitech the new streaming microphone that they just released, and that thing is phenomenal. So if you're a person in the realm for a new mic, it's an XLR mic, and it's actually really, really good. But this handheld thing, it's just too much competition out there. You got Apple out there trying to find reasons to get people in their ecosystem. You got, you still got, like you said, the Steam Deck and everything. I mean, as much as irrelevant as the GeForce Now is, the Nvidia Shield is, there's still a lot of people out there and get it. And I could just see so many different ways for you to still play this type of content that you want in a streaming fashion and stuff. So
yeah, I can see why. And I do understand like the pricing it's too steep for what it's offering.
Yeah, for what it is.
But I can understand why like Xbox and Nvidia are involved in it, because it offers an opportunity for them to offer a similar like competitor product to the Nintendo Switch that offers their content in regions where they don't actually have a lot of influence and a lot of market share at that time. I just wanted to read this little blurb from the article from Engadget, and then I guess we could move on. But it says Logitech and Tencent, who built the device together, collaborated with Microsoft and Nvidia to ensure there's native support for Xbox cloud gaming and GeForce Now. You'll be able to use the Steam Link app to play games from your PC remotely, while the Xbox app supports remote play from consoles. Logitech notes that users will be able to download apps from the Google Play Store, so you should be able to access the likes of. So you can that's where you can download. You can download games from Google Play Store, which those games now it's kind of understandable why there's 64 gigs of memory of storage, because those games are so small that like they shouldn't take up that much space. Regardless, 64 gigs still isn't a lot. Like I have, I guess, a few games installed. Well, I did have games when I still had an Android, but they didn't take up too much space. Regardless of that, it says, so you should be able to access the likes of Google Stadia and Amazon Luna, as well as social media apps, Android games, and streaming video services such as YouTube and Netflix, as you use the device in tablet mode. So it's not a bad device. I would say that it's not a bad device, but but I think it's definitely overpriced. And I think that if they were smart, I don't know when this is supposed to launch. I think they probably are better off dropping it like $50 to $100. I think
$50, I think, because the Shield, what is it? The Nvidia Shield is what, $200, and then the Shield controller is $60, and then you can even buy the Shield stand, which is an extra $20, and you're still $30 under the price of the Logitech handheld. I mean, unless you're genuinely curious about portability in that fashion, like a Nintendo Switch. But again, grab a backbone and an iPhone, and that's infinitely more portable than the Logitech
Yeah, I think that the success of this device, because like I see, shout out to Asante in the chat. He says the Snapdragon 720, which is the processor for this, can't really play Genshin Impact or Fortnite. The entry level Steam Deck does everything this can do. Yeah, I mean, although they are. I'm thinking more than likely, if you're going to be playing Genshin Impact or Fortnite, you're going to be streaming that through cloud. So, I mean, we'll see how it works out. But I think the success or failure of this device is going to depend upon one thing really, and that's availability. And availability in the regions where it may have the most potential to get to grab customers. One thing that I think Steam Deck's great. And I love my Steam Deck. But if you wanted to buy, say, a month ago, if you were trying to buy a Steam Deck, like, you would buy one, you would put the order in, and you gotta wait till like 2023 to actually receive it. Now, the most recently, Valve came out and was like, they fulfilled all their Q3 orders. They're on the Q4. So now at this point, I think probably if you put in an order today for a Steam Deck, you will probably be able to get it before the year is up, like in a couple of months. But if I think Logitech and Tencent probably, like, their probably best chance of really getting this device to be successful is availability. And that's probably going to come down to Tencent actually having the ability to, being as big as they are, to be able to distribute this thing in the regions that are interested in it, and in a way where someone can actually go to a store like a GameStop or whatever the equivalent of GameStop is in Korea or Japan and just buy one. Because if you can't, if it's not available, it could be the best device in the world, but if it's not available, then who has it? Just the people that have it. Everyone else that wants it can't get it. So it's I think it's an interesting device. I don't think it's going to be successful, mostly because I don't think the people working on it have any real experience in this arena to actually market it correctly to people who may want it, or support it in the ways that it needs to be supported to keep it going, long term. Because like what hardware has Tencent made? What handheld devices have Logitech made? So yeah. Anything else, guys, before we move on?
No, I think we kind of muddied the water there. Yeah,
muddy the water.
Now, I guess we could talk about something that has been on everyone's mind over the past week, and has I'm pretty sure has destroyed the mentions of someone on the panel.
Yeah.
And that is this GTA 6 leak. So, if you've been living under a rock and you didn't know this, a hacker hacked Rockstar and was able to secure a significant amount of very early pre-alpha footage of Grand Theft Auto 6. I'm not showing it because I'm not trying to get copyright struck. but they coming after everybody to show that. So look, just imagine, okay, if you haven't seen it, just imagine what it might look like, okay? And as well as some source code and a couple of other things I can't remember. It's been so many different stories that
the official thing from the Telegram is that the hacker supposedly, because he kind of disappeared and then came back. It has the source code for GTA 5. He has the source code for GTA 6 at the moment right now, and he has the test build for GTA 6. And he has a bunch of GTA 4, GTA 5, and GTA 6 confidential documents that I'm assuming that he released on PDF or something like that, because people are saying they're legit and that he does have his hands on them. So yeah, from credible sources too, mind you, like Ben from Videotech and Tom Henderson from the internet. I can't remember. I can't remember which
the internet.
I can't remember who he works for, if he's a freelance or independent. But yeah, they're credible sources.
Tom Henderson, I think can't remember which publication he works for, but he also just launched a website called Insider Gaming or something like that. So I don't know what Tom's doing, but he's got sources. He's mostly, a lot of his sources are like Activision based, because he's always leaking stuff about Call of Duty and EA, because he's always talking about Battlefield as well. But yeah, it's all that stuff is it's been pretty wild. I can't wait to find like an official timeline of everything, because like I've heard so many things that then turned out like, oh well, that wasn't true, because the person. Okay, so this is what I've heard. I've heard that someone impersonated a Rockstar employee and spoke with the hacker, but they didn't really work for Rockstar. I've heard that someone scammed another person who was going to pay to get this stuff released, but he wasn't the real hacker. So it's just like there's so much going on. But I don't know, like there's been a lot of talk online, and then there's been a lot of discussion, and the one thing that I found to be really annoying to me is when developers are like discussing these things, and then people who aren't developers jump in and be like, oh well, you know, glad they got hacked, GTA 6 should have been out by now, they've been milking us on shark cards and GTA Online all these years, so what? And I'm just like, okay, so you got an issue with Rockstar, but what does that have to really do with somebody hacking them and releasing all this information, like all this stuff that wasn't supposed to be released? And I don't know, Deli, what are your thoughts on, like, because you gave your thoughts online, right? And then
unfortunately,
yeah, and I saw pushback on your thoughts from people who are developers, which I thought, like, the dialogue, when I read through that dialogue, I thought that was really informative. Like the guy that is the lead director on Metal Hellsing.
The creative director of Metal Hellsinger.
Yeah.
And the creative director of Dead Static Drive, both games that I've purchased or have supported for quite some time, so they're developers that I deeply admire. Pushed back.
Yeah, and I found those conversations fascinating, because this is people with an informed view of like the damages of having your information leaked, the damage of having potential source code leaked, and what it can do and what that might mean for the game overall when we may get the game, how it may be delayed, so on and so forth. And so I thought that all that stuff was interesting. What I thought wasn't interesting was, shut up, your game sucks, so I don't need to listen to anything that you have to say technical wise. Just like, what does that have to?
You know, honestly, I've built quite a resistance to that kind of stuff, you know, as of this last year. So I'm a huge fan when people say that to me. I'm like, okay, buddy.
Yeah. Now, to kind of catch everybody up, what was, okay, can you break down for us, let's say all the source code is stolen?
Okay, yeah, I can go from the top. So
okay,
I woke up and I was catching the story live. It was unfolding, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of, you know, however you may see it, I was caught up in the drama, whatever. Like, stuff was just coming out every 5 minutes,
right? And it wasn't all accurate, and no one could keep their head straight on what was true or not. Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Some people were tweeting stuff out, and then next thing you know, 10 minutes later, the tweet will get deleted, or, you know. So I found Ben from Videotech and Tom Henderson. Those guys were keeping a track of things live as they were unfolding consistently, and they weren't deleting tweets, and they were very accurate, and they were double checking with their sources. So when I was following this news, I had heard and saw that the hacker on Telegram reversed engineered his way in through Slack channels.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too.
Yeah, into the servers, and then was able to basically reap the server of everything that they had held. inside the server, right? And then people were saying, oh, this gameplay is 2 or 3 years old, this blah, 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 this and that, which didn't really add up to me, because why would you keep builds of like 3-year-old footage, like just footage, not even like anything like concrete, just footage on your servers? But I mean, you know, a large company, you know, I guess it happens. Things happen during the pandemic, whatever it may be. So I tweeted out, I don't think you guys understand the severity of the GTA 6 leak, right? Because everybody was talking just about the 90 videos and stuff like that. Right. But I'm talking like what I was seeing was something that was actually damaging. So I was like, I don't think you guys actually understand the severity of the GTA 6 leak, because 10,000 lines of code, proprietary and secret craftsmanship, is now floating into the ether. Like, this stuff that actually was leaked, not the actual whole source code, but like just those 10,000 lines of code, right?
Right. Well, and I think the only pushback I really saw people give you that were like actual developers, well, they thought that the 10,000 lines of code wasn't that severe. Like, that was like, it wasn't like that's not a lot of code to lose. So
yeah, it could have been anything. That was the thing that they were arguing, was that it could have been 10,000 lines, could be anything. Right? Like, it could be 10,000 lines of animation, 10,000 lines of this or that. But I was just arguing that it's just dangerous to have source code out. Like, in general, it didn't matter how many lines, you know what I mean? It's important to distinct that consumers don't understand that source code is much different than just public code that, you know, can be seen inside, you know, patch files and stuff like that. Source code is something that permeates through the entire foundation of the game. And that's something that you can, when you get your hands on, you understand APIs and you understand things that interact with the game and how they interact with the game. Mind you, again, 10,000 lines of code could be a walking animation, or it could be the way they handled anti-cheat. It could be any of that. I don't know. We don't know. We don't know what was leaked. I'm not analyzing this stuff. I don't want to get, you know, in trouble from Rockstar, right?
Right.
So I just heard, you know, I saw 10,000 lines of publicly leaked code. So that's not something like, oh, I'm holding onto things for ransom, right? Like the test build, the source code, that stuff was boom. That stuff was all for ransom. I wasn't going to comment on that, right? But this stuff I know for a fact was out into the ether. And so I don't know. I didn't analyze the code. I don't know what it is. Again, it could have been a walking animation. It could have been how doors close. You know, it could have been a building. It could have been anything. Or it could have been anti-cheat. It could be how they store shark cards. It could be how they store personal information of users on the internet. It could be anything, right?
Yeah.
So I had said, sorry, go ahead.
I wanted to actually, though, go ahead and continue, because what I wanted to do was, like, I had saw a thread from a developer who had like 20 plus years of experience. I saw you interacted with him at one point too, and I want to kind of read his thoughts on it, because he said, he was talking about, like, I thought the way he broke down how bad this could be was really good, because the way he broke it down, he was talking about like similar to what you said about how the code interacts with each other in APIs, and how, like, if you have the actual source of this, like the security of the game is in jeopardy, because if you release the game as is with all this stuff out there, people are going to be able to hack you just indiscriminately. Like, they're going to be able to, like, change things, you know, get into the servers, do things, especially in an online game, GTA Online already had a hacking issue to begin with back when it first came out. It could be like so much worse than that, and that could really severely affect the overall experience and success of the game, because people, one of the biggest things that I've noticed when it comes to online games failing is games being hacked and the developer not reacting or stamping it out quickly enough. Because I've seen so many games have like a really good start, and because they couldn't get the hacking under control fast enough, it ends up being, you know, a wasteland. No one else plays it no more. Even if after they fixed all the issues, no one's playing the game because it's got that reputation of like, yeah, man, it's just cheaters everywhere. But yeah, go ahead, because I'm trying to find the guy's thread, but it's
he deleted the tweet because he was getting nasty DMs and stuff like that.
What damn? All right, never mind.
It's very unfortunate. But yeah, so I basically said Rockstar has all ability to outright cancel the game over this. Again, ability. I never said the game was going to get canceled. But again, this stuff is footage that we've never seen before. So up until now, we didn't know if this was actually true, right? So if they can this, and then like 2 years from now they come out with a new game and you're not playing as whatever protagonist that they had showed off, we would never know, right? Until this leak happened, we don't know how far in development this is. We don't know if things get canned. They could have rescoped the entire game or half the game, and we would have never know. But I just said Rockstar has an ability to outright cancel the game over this, because this is a pretty huge issue. And mind you, while this issue was going on, it was escalating more and more every 5 minutes, every hour, right? And then I said there's an 85% chance, which is hyperbole. Like, come on now, I don't know. I don't work for Rockstar. I don't know how I got this statistic. Like, I should have used 69%, because then that would have it would include people in on like the whole Rockstar, one game a decade meme. But I digress. 85% chance that they'll delay the game into next decade, and I never said a decade long delay and any of that stuff. I said into the next decade, right?
Right.
Because mind you, our source code for Legion got hacked, they got stolen, all 558 gigabytes of it, and they held it for ransom, and it was disastrous. And the game, when that happened, the game had close to come out, so there was nothing we can really do about it, right? But it was one of those things that, like, if somebody got into the source code, they were able to replicate the engine, our proprietary engine that we used, and they could, do anything they want with that. They could sell it to China, and fast follows can come right up the street, and next thing you know, Watch Dogs can be a yearly release. Who knows? But it was super dangerous, and as a developer who's had firsthand experience with the emails from IT that says, please don't do any work, please don't do anything for the next 2 weeks, it's like, I understand exactly what's happening right now as things are unfolding. I'm like, this could get really out of hand really, really quickly. I've gotten the phone calls, I've gotten the emails, I've gotten the tickets, the Slack messages, I've gotten all of that stuff. So to me, sitting at my desk, reading this as it was unfolding live, I was concerned with Rockstar developers. And since the game, we don't know how far along the game is, this could be potentially delayed. If the game is supposed to come out 2025, right? That's pretty generous. That's 3 years from now, right? 2025. If it's delayed 2 or 3 years after that, that's 2028. That's into the next decade. That's only 2 years into the next decade. That's pretty far into the console generation, right? And if they have to keep up with 5090s and 5080s, and they have to keep up with the PlayStation 6, you know what I mean?
Right.
They could easily say, hey, we're just gonna push this a little bit longer, right? Or whatever it may be. So I was like, feasibly, it could be another 6 or 7 years before the game even makes its way onto the surface. And from the information that I saw, from the leaks that I saw, a lot of that stuff was debug. A lot of that stuff was, stuff that they were still ironing out and making sure that interactions were working. I mean, there was one where they were just trying to make sure this door closed properly. That's not something that you do late into development. That's something that you need to iron out quickly. Hitboxes for doors, hitboxes for characters, little things like that. These interactions they're really, really early on. This stuff is like prototype stuff. So I'm like, yo, this game is at least 3 years out. That's 2025. If it's delayed 1 or 2 years, that's 2027. That's pretty close into the decade. That's where I got my information. That's where I looked at my scale and scope.
Yeah, and I think it's good that like when Rockstar finally spoke on this, they didn't speak on like whether this is going to set them back or not. Although like not speaking on it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not going to set them back, but it at least it doesn't appear so far that this is going to be that big of a setback. They seem to kind of downplay the severity of it. I'm not certain if that was just to kind of like give the impression that we're good, or whether it really is what it is. But all that to say, like, I mean, it's Rockstar. I wasn't expecting the game before 2025 anyway.
Yeah, I don't think any of us were. So when people were like, "Oh yeah, it's coming out next year," I'm like, what?
No, it's not.
I had an argument with somebody that said he said that the financial statements are 85 million for 2023 into 2024. I said that's 6 months. April is 6 months away, man. Like that plan they made in 2020. Like I just don't. I don't understand the conjecture. I don't understand the speculative information. Like, you can't tell me for sure that's GTA 6. You don't know that. Nobody knows that. you're just guessing because of industry trends. You're just guessing because this is Take Two. You don't. This could be an acquisition that they're planning to make. You know, this could be a big push, you know, into next gen. This could be a movie. This could be anything. It literally could be anything. But somebody was saying, oh, it's going to come out 2023, which is 6 months from now. I was like, you know, like, that's, I don't know. That was silly for me to even indulge. But I just said my heart's out to Rockstar devs, because my stance on dev solidarity has never changed. Since you guys known me, I've never changed my stance on it. I'm not here bootlicking Rockstar or whatever. I literally I was just wondering, you know, for the health of the developers, because I've been there, I've been here. So I was like, this is something that is quite serious. But anyways, I came back to the tweet after I got 70,000 likes, which completely left my neighborhood. And I went back and forth with, actually, ironically enough, I've only went back and forth with those two developers. I had an
as you should,
follow.
As you should, because like if other people, let me just real quick, go back and forth with people who are on your level. Don't go back and forth with people who don't even like. They're not only are they not on the same page as you, they're not even in the same. They don't even own the book. Like, they don't own the book to even read. They don't know what book you're talking about. Like, don't go back and forth with them kind of people. They're not important. Yeah. I did want to say something real quick that Kay Asante said here. He says, with source code, it has the potential to turn the game into a potential honeypot. You log in and it drops malicious code on your PC. That's true. That is very, very, very true. Shout out to Alvin with the $5 super chat. He says, Borderlands gameplay is always appreciated. You know what? Maybe I need to play some more Borderlands gameplay. You know, in the during the podcast. It is always appreciated, the greatest looter shooter that's ever lived, right, Forte?
It is.
It is.
I agree.
Yeah, it's the best of the best.
So yeah, after all of that,
the last few games, but yeah.
Hey, look, this is the last game. Well, actually not. This is not Tiny Tina.
Borderlands 3 was fun.
Yeah.
It just wasn't a good story.
Yeah, the story's awful. Absolutely worst story. All the stuff that you see like right now, this gameplay is post campaign content. All the post campaign content is awesome. I'm really enjoying it. It's like you get these big runs where it's like if you die, you go all the way back to the beginning. You gotta start over again, and I really like that because it kind of like and it's got puzzles in it and everything, and the pressure is always on, so it's pretty cool. I'm enjoying myself with it. Forte, real quick, you remember when like people were talking about GTA 6 a few months ago, and everyone when we found out that there was supposed to be dual protagonists, a man and a woman, a Bonnie and Clyde kind of situation, and people immediately got in their feelings. Oh, it's gonna be some ugly, forgive my language here, slag woman they're gonna have here and everything. And I'm not trying. They're being woke. You know, like I hate the word woke, honestly, because it always seems to be like there's a particular kind of person that always uses the word woke. And I'm just, you know what kind of person it is. I don't need to say who they are. You know who they are. But very interesting how when we see this gameplay, you know, and that, you know, I'm not going to describe it in too much detail because I don't want to get in trouble. But, you know, no one seemed to complain about this female protagonist. Do you have any theories why?
Oh yeah, that woman had junk in the trunk. They did that Latina right. They did it right.
So you said she was looking good. She was looking good.
Oh yeah, she's looking good, bro. I mean, you know, for a person down the screen full of pixels, not completely fit rendered out, and all the detail and textures on her, she still looked. You know, people was like paying more attention to you know, her walking around the diner than they were the actual gameplay that was on the screen.
Right. So yeah. Interesting how all the you know, this is woke. They gone woke. You know, all that talk went away real fast. And Kay in the chat says, I really don't trust their PR statement. I mean, that's their golden goose that's been hacked frankness equals stock plummet. Am I wrong? You're not wrong at all, Kay. Like, you're gonna try to downplay it. Like, this ain't hurt me. I'm good. We're not even changing our scheduling. We're still gonna drop the game when we was gonna drop the game. We ain't gonna tell you when we was gonna drop the game. Yeah.
About this on their own cadence, though. You know how Rockstar is. Just because this leak came out, they're gonna sue the mighty living hell off of somebody.
Oh yeah, like the FBI is involved now. So yeah. It's I think
serious.
they know the identity of the hacker. So good luck to you, whoever you are. I hope the hole that you're hiding in right now is comfortable. You know, not too cramped. Because once they do finally catch you, and they will, you're more than likely probably going to not enjoy the other hole they put you in either, or the holes that you have that might get evaded. But yeah, it's what it is.
I just feel like it was kind of funny that, and I'm very thankful that those developers did actually go back and forth with me, because it seemed to me like those were the only developers that went back and forth with me. There seemed to be a lot of people who are on my side when it comes to this kind of severity thing, which I feel like I accurately portrayed, judging from the tweet and the 70,000 likes and the 1,500 or the 5,000 retweets and stuff like that. For the amount of interaction and engagement that tweet got, I feel like I conveyed the seriousness of the situation. Especially it was a Sunday, so nobody knew what was going to happen. We all had to wait on shareholders, right? So my information was just as good as anybody else's. But it was like you saw, Mo. There was a lot of very senior developers that have 2 lifetimes worth of my experience that were on my side that said, yes, this could be very, very serious. It can be very, very dangerous very, very quickly. We have to be mindful of this kind of stuff. They have to shut this down very, very quickly. But it just was very interesting that there were some developers that were, mind you, they were indie game developers that didn't seem to necessarily have a problem with what was actually going on. But they only had a problem with only the 10,000 lines of code.
Right, that's what I saw. It seemed like their only issue was like the amount of lines of code didn't warrant concern to them. It seems like. But yeah, look, I think we.
Listen, man.
Go ahead, Forte.
I was gonna say, listen, man. They out here like, listen. This sucks that this person did this. It's shown the game, but let's be for real. The game actually looked pretty decent for a game that we're not going to play for 2 years. If you're going to sit here and critique the overall polish,
that was another thing. Yeah, I couldn't stand that. People like this looks. This don't even look as good as GTA 5, bruh. They did like you do realize they weren't trying to show this, right? Like they look, critique a game where the developer or publisher actually shows you the game. They intended to show that it don't look good, then go ahead and kill it. Sure, whatever. When it's pre-alpha footage that's over a year old that they didn't intend on showing anybody, why are you even judging it? And people are like, well, why does it look like that? Well, why aren't there like tons of textures everywhere? Because like all that, and Deli backed me up on this. They don't add that stuff into the end again in development.
That's like the last 8 months, man.
Yeah,
like visuals is like nothing.
Yeah, they're concerned with doors opening correctly and characters walking correctly, motion matching, and all kinds of other stuff that like is super important to the game, not the visuals while they're working on it.
Did you see how some of the characters in the diner still had like their like you could tell they were like a bunch of circles and circular tubes put together. Like one person had like a circle for his stomach, his arms were like circular cylinders attached to his body, and he just had like texture painted over him for clothes and stuff. I said, yeah, man,
it's a placeholder.
This is just for reference.
That's
the thing people don't
that's
realize.
John placeholder and Kathy just stand here and look pretty. That's it.
Right.
Like they're not. They will get real NPCs later on. Like it's just that. Like it's the fact that people don't get that. Like it's so weird to me because I saw this with Redfall when that pre-alpha footage of Redfall leaked, that people was like, oh, look at the way it looks awful. I'm like, did you see they got walls where it's just a big block and it says add a wall here? Like,
I did see that,
like,
add a wall here.
This is not actual, like, you weren't supposed to see this. Where do you think games begin at? You know, like they're not putting ray tracing in at the beginning of development and then running around with, like, you know, the ultra textures all over the map while they're trying to create things. Like, that's just not how this works. Like, it's silly. It's so silly. I'm glad we spoke on that, because I'm just people are dumb. I hate to say it like that, but there's some really, like, not the brightest people out here.
Yeah, there wasn't, that whole interaction on Sunday was just messy, man. Like, from all fronts. I just think everybody got a headache.
Yeah. But we can move on now to oh man, this is an interesting one to me, because especially based upon the things that this person has said. So former Sony executive Sean Layton, who was working with another firm, I can't remember their name, but they were a firm that seemed to be focusing on helping indie developers, get their products out there, and like consulting for smaller publishers and indie developers. He had been speaking pretty highly about creative freedom, the autonomy of the developers to make the kind of content they want to make, but speaking very much against industry consolidation, speaking against these big, huge platforms buying up all the independent developers, especially the AAA independent developers. And shout out to Persona and Jay Barry, who had him on their podcast last year, which he spoke on a lot of those things. He's also this Saturday going to come back, and at least that's what I heard. Hopefully they still scheduled to come back. Maybe things have changed, who knows, but he's supposed to come back and discuss some things with them again. So maybe we'll get some clarification on why he's made this decision. Because Sean Layton has now been agreed to work with Tencent as a strategic advisor, and I found that completely fascinating, because Tencent is one of these companies out here doing the consolidation. Every time you look up, Tencent out here buying somebody, or they're putting some money down and they're getting a little bit of percentages in people, which is always ends up becoming them buying someone in the long run. I wanted to real quick show what he had said, because like he originally had revealed this on LinkedIn, and I thought it was kind of hilarious that he didn't think that like this information would reach Twitter, because when it was Twitter account, he's like, I guess the news has been broken over here too. I'm like it's Sean, it's social media, bro. Like, you break something on LinkedIn, that it's gonna be on everything. It's gonna be on Facebook. It's gonna be on YouTube. It's gonna be on Twitter. It's gonna be on all that, bro. Come on. But let me switch over to. Let me make sure I got it. There we go. So this is what his statement was on LinkedIn. He said, "Update: I am delighted to share that I have recently joined Tencent Games as a strategic advisor. In this role, I hope to advise, assist, and support the team at Tencent as they deepen their activities and commitments within the industry to which I've devoted the majority of my career. We are at an..." I hate saying this word. I'm gonna say it wrong. Epoch? Die. Is that how you pronounce that word?
Epoch? Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay, I got it right. Great. Defining moment in gaming and interactive entertainment. There are many possible roads ahead, but only a few are. I love the statement here. There are many possible roads ahead, but only a few are profound, broadening, inclusive, edifying, inspiring, and or sustainable. I'm gonna get back to that in a minute. I am thrilled to continue this journey of discovery and thank Tencent for the opportunity. Now, the reason why I highlight that sentence there, that second to last sentence, is that Sean Layton has been a big proponent that he thinks Game Pass is not sustainable, and Game Pass is something that like eventually will be like a failed service or whatever. Maybe he hasn't gone that far, but he just doesn't think that the whole model, the business model, works. And so, interesting that he said that statement, the and or sustainable there, because I know exactly what he was referring to without actually having to outright say Game Pass, but that's what he was referring to. Forte, what are your thoughts on Sean joining the dark side? Joining Tencent. What are your thoughts on this, man?
No, I mean, I actually think it's probably a good thing because, you know, I feel like it gives him an ability to kind of shape what's going to happen with one of these bigger, I keep don't want to call them a publisher, but they just suck up stuff basically. But yeah, one of these bigger entities that actually go after and have the money to acquire all these different studios. And he can actually probably influence a little bit of the direction of them going forward. I think, you know, when it comes to Sean Layton, you know, Sony was at his absolute best when he was a part of it with him and Andrew House were basically there. And I think with him advising Tencent, and Tencent isn't the company that's going out trying to like dictate when it comes to their publishers and stuff for their developers when it comes to what they want them to do. They basically just want to get a piece of the pie. They want to be able to own a lot of different things, and they want to be able to broaden their horizons when it comes to ownership through that. They're really not trying to, you know, make an example of their developers and say, well, we bought you for you can do this. They just want the extra money that comes from owning those people. And I think that's another good way that Sean Layton can come in there and actually just, you know, inherently get, you know, more and more people behind exactly the structure and what they want to do as a company and stuff. So a lot of people are scared of Tencent. I'd rather it be somebody like Sean Layton heading over to Tencent than him being somewhere else. Probably like, yeah, I don't even know where else he would actually go. But it just seems like you'll have an impact on what their direction could be. And I think that's the thing that a lot of people are kind of wondering what that's going to be.
Yeah, I'm actually playing some footage from Warframe right now. And the reason why I'm playing that footage is because Warframe is developed by Digital Extremes. Digital Extremes ended up becoming owned by Layton Technologies, Chinese company that just doing a lot of what say like NetEase and Tencent does, which is essentially financing and investing in video game companies. Layton Technologies decided to kind of get out of that business, and there was a bidding war a couple years ago between PlayStation and Tencent. Tencent won, and now Tencent owns Digital Extremes, owns Warframe, and I will freely admit back then I was very concerned about this, because I had seen some other cases where Tencent had owned developers, purchased companies like Layton that owned a bunch of developers, and they really only purchased it because they wanted one developer, that like say a group of 5 or 6, and then they shut down the other studios once they acquired everything, just kept that one developer. And I was afraid that might happen to Digital Streams in the game Warframe that I genuinely enjoy, but the opposite has happened. Ever since Tencent has acquired Digital Extremes, they're now developing a brand new game for the first time in almost a decade. Actually, a decade. They are expanding finally. After years of everyone saying they need to have a bigger team in order to deliver on executables for the game, they're expanded to 2 different studios, so two different teams within the studio. One's going to work on this new game called Soulframe, and which seems like to be like an MMO Souls-like kind of game. It's interesting. And then there's another team that also is delivering on content for Warframe, and a lot more content, a lot more narrative driven content. There are a lot of the stuff that is a bit more expensive. So I think, like, I hate to say it, but maybe Tencent ain't that bad, you know. like maybe they're not the boogeyman that I thought they were. But regardless of that, like, it's if Sean Layton's influence might help them make more decisions like they made with Warframe and Digital Extremes, pretty much saving a studio from going under and allowing them to flourish, then shoot, I'm fine with it. Di, what are your thoughts on all this?
I mean, I think that it's this exciting new venture for Mr. Sean Layton. I think that Tencent was definitely, how do I say this? I think they're definitely vigilant on the current landscape of consolidation, service games, and just innovation in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the way the industry is moving as a forward, there's definitely a lot of, how do I say this? There's a divide in developers and divide in talent in general that feels one way or another about the way the industry is heading. So I think that Tencent is, again, being vigilant in that and cognizant about how their products have been received previously in this last decade, in general. And of course, their their seats on the board of Epic Games is very valuable in the amount of feedback that they're able to get in such a triumphant live service game. I think that they're definitely taking all of that into account. Hiring somebody like Sean Layton potentially, to me, means that they're moving in a direction that is most fair for the industry and most fair for people who are looking for the growth of the industry and not so much for the growth of their wallets. Just because year on year, we've seen the gaming industry dwarf several other industries worldwide, and of course just nationwide here in the US alone. So I think that Tencent is very observant to those trends.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, to be fair, Kay in the chat says, well, to be fair, Slow to Fear, Tencent isn't overly mustache twirly supervillain stuff. It's that they'll start pushing Chinese influence, and they have done that on occasion, even pulled that on Epic once. I do agree completely, and that's always going to be with any Chinese company, the fear and the potential of that happening when it comes to we've seen it with esports, where a particular, let's say, if a particular esports player or whatever athlete says something that politically is not something that the Chinese are in agreement with, they use their influence to make sure that person understands they ain't happy about what was said. And that those are things that I'm never going to be, you know, cool with. But it is an unfortunate reality when you're dealing with these big Chinese companies that are out here acquiring studios and whatnot. Forte, real quick, you see this Warframe Railjack gameplay?
I do. I'm looking at it.
Yeah. It doesn't look good.
It does look good. It's a great game that is it still in beta? Do they still consider this beta for this game?
No, Warframe's been a official release.
It's official release finally?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Good. Oh, I love Warframe, man. Warframe was awesome. It's just the thing about Warframe is once you like I was playing it back in 2011. I played it all the way through 2014. And once I walked away, I was mastery level 15 when I walked away, and started playing Battlefield and Destiny. And when I tried to go back and play it, I'm like, I gotta look at YouTube videos to get caught up on this.
Yeah.
Because I remember I put a lot of research into Warframe when I first started. I probably watched over 100 hours worth of YouTube videos of people's builds and best ways to get new Warframes without having to buy them and stuff, and going into the void and all that other stuff. And it's like, I don't want to do that again, man, because this game, they added story elements to the game now when it comes to like some of the best story.
It's a very deep story.
Game. Yeah, it's always had a deep story. They just finally implemented it into a way where it all makes sense now.
So have you ever did the second Dream expansion?
I have, and it's amazing.
Yeah,
It's probably some of the best stuff you will ever see in the
it's
video
some
game.
of the best storytelling in the video game ever, I would say. I asked that because it's like, hey, do you know what this footage is from?
What is it from?
It's from an Xbox Series S.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, I can definitely tell because I don't see the Nvidia particles all over the place from
The Nvidia
from physics.
Is that what they call Nvidia particles?
Yeah, it's the particles that are part of physics that this game does an amazing job in replicating. I mean, when you're playing it and stuff, so you definitely tell that it's lacking in that department. But no, this looks really good.
It's running on the Xbox Series S.
Running at 60 frames per second, not 130 that your PC can run at.
Right, which is the reason why I'm like, they need to get on the ball with this cross progression, so I can
I'm shocked that they haven't done that yet, or even just made it so you can play PC and console can play together. Because there's really, I mean, there is PvP in the game,
but it's bad. It's bad PvP. It's not why people. No one plays Warframe for that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They should just make it cross-play so you can just play with everybody at this point.
I would say they did, to be fair, they have come out and said they are working on cross progression and cross-play.
They actually let you shoot ships in this game now. Crazy.
It took space battles,
years
man,
to get there, but you're there now.
But it's been a while, and it's taken them a long time to get to actually get the cross progression and cross play done, and I've just lost patience, so I'm playing it on my Xbox again because I wanted to play it on PC with much better hardware, but
this looks like what is the name of the ship in game when he's using, you got to put his arms into it and you use that to control the ship and move around.
And you said in game, but Avengers?
In Avengers, how he's piloting the ship.
What you mean, one of the Guardians? I don't know who.
No, you know how? No. You I forget his name. We called Iron Man called him Squidward.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, you know how he was piloting
Black Maw.
Yeah. How he was piloting the ship, and he had to stick his arms into the thing and to order to pilot the ship. That's what that looks like on the screen, and I guarantee you they took inspiration from that when they made that. When they made this.
And shout out to Erodimus with the $5 super chat. Speaking of Nvidia, come on home slow mo, which is once again like Erodimus keeps telling me to come on home as if I don't I literally just said this is Xbox gameplay footage that he's seeing here, but whatever. But I will use that as a segue. Speaking of Nvidia, let's talk about Nvidia and why everybody is so daggone angry at them for some of the tomfoolery they've been getting into recently. Nvidia revealed this week their new line, the Ada Lovelace line of GPUs, which are the RTX 4090 and the RTX 4080s, or maybe 4080s,
maybe 4070s and 4080s.
Right. So the specs and what those the actual GPUs are capable of, DLSS 3, some of the dual AVI encoders, all the performance improvements for content creators, streamers, just if you're just regularly playing games, all that stuff. Well, some of their claims have to be verified by independent sources. They're saying 2 to 4 times in performance increase over the 3000 series. That remains to be seen, and probably really only happening in select games with DLSS 3 enabled. But all that said, impressive specs and hardware. That's not why people are upset. People are upset because of the pricing. And so the 4090 is $1,600, which is $100 more than what the 3090 was when that was launched 2 years ago. The 4080 16 gigabyte version is $1,200. And then there is this 4080, which is 12? Yeah, 12 gigabytes of VRAM. And that one's at $900, and that's all that they've announced. They haven't made any mention of a 4070 or 4060, whatever, right? No mention of any TIs yet, and they actually even showed some of the talking about if you want cheaper options. Here, we still have the 3000 series are still being sold. People looked at that 12 gigabyte 4080 and were like, something's not quite right here. Something's just not right. Let's look at that in detail. And then of course people start looking in detail and start to see that, oh, the CUDA core count for the 12 gigabyte is less, significantly less than the 16 gigabyte count. And then they start seeing that the actual internal names of each build are different. And so that's when people started to realize, oh, this 12 gigabyte 4080 is really a 4070. That they call the 4080 so they can justify charging us more money. Now, I know not everyone is PC people here, but I do know that all three of us who game on PC die. What are your thoughts on this? And give me 1 second because I got a kid here. I need to take care of something real quick. But go ahead and speak on it real quick, okay?
Well, I think it's kind of shameless for them to cut down a card by 26% and then only charge a few $100 less. Frankly, I don't see Jensen and Nvidia doing anything different since the 20 series is super refresh. So am I surprised? No. Am I disappointed? Yes. Personally, to me, I am looking forward to the 4090 because I have a 3090. It is an absolutely massive, triple slot card, and I have more than enough space in my computer for it, but it means that I don't have any space for anything else. I think I can do a PCIe M.2 on the bottom rung, but that's about it. Yeah, I just think that the cut down 4070, I think that they kind of just tested it and said oh yeah, well the 4070, we can probably nerf the 4070 even more and sell bottom bin GPUs and get away with that kind of stuff. So realistically, I think that the 4080 12 gig is going to be the option that a lot of people go for, just for the fact that it'll be price friendly. But with the aftermarket coolers and PCBs and stuff like that, I don't actually know if the 12 gig is going to be viable. If you bought it strictly from Nvidia, yes, the 12 gig is perfectly fine. It's a decent upgrade. It works perfectly fine, and it's probably way better than the 3080 or whatever it may be. But looking into the aftermarket cooler, I mean, you could probably get a 12 gig 4080 for the same price as a 16 gigabyte 4080. So I'm really not entirely sure what Nvidia was doing here when it came to pricing and stuff like that. I think it would have been more fair if it was just an 8 gig and then they charged $499 for it, being able to really give AMD the run for their money. But I am just really confused about the 12 gig, and I think that it's probably going to be the same as the the 2070 Ti and the 2070 Ti Super, whatever it may be, where it's just marginal and then the gigabyte count is just negligible at that point in time. So again, if the gigabyte difference is negligible, then I think that the 4080 12 gig is probably going to be the one that outsells the 4080 16 gig, which would again further divide the price between the viable card and then the next step up, which is the $1,599 card. So you're paying, I don't know, I'm just going to come up with generic numbers, right? You're paying twice the amount of money for, let's say, 40% more performance. I mean, I think people are going to jump down Nvidia's throat for this one. specifically. So yeah, is it worth $300? That's yet to be seen. Personally, to me, I'm going to make the call here in the beginning. I don't think it's going to be worth $300, to be honest with you. Not at all.
Nope, I don't either. You know, and this is the thing. Deli, you got a 3090, right?
I do have a 3090, yep.
Is any games really pushing that 3090 right now?
No, I think...
Have you even come close to...
No, nothing is good. No,
your 3090 sweating at any game that's come out right now. I mean, you might bottleneck your CPU before you bottleneck that 3090.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think I'll bottleneck the 3090 before I bottleneck my CPU.
You got.
I have a Threadripper, but
yeah, you have a Threadripper. Yeah, so yeah. That's a little different.
I think I've seen it stress at Adobe Premiere. That's about it.
Right. Yeah. Right.
But yeah, for actual games, no. I think the 3090 is more than enough for the next 5-6 years.
What is the?
Well, most games, because look, even when it launched, when Cyberpunk came out, Cyberpunk was too much game for everything. Like it
was also a non-optimized piece of garbage.
But we're getting a lot of non-optimized pieces of garbage being released.
So we need to overcompensate by giving more money to something that don't deserve to have more money to it, so we can play games.
Hey, I'm not saying you need to do anything. I'm just saying if you're one of those guys that gotta have the best of the best. If you want, like, man, forget just having 60 FPS. Forget just having 120 frames per second. Of course, you can hit 120 frames on 1000 series GPUs, depending on like how you have your settings set up and whatnot. If you're one of those people, out here who I want native 4K, and I want ultra settings, I want everything turned on, and I want ray tracing on. And I want all that stuff, and I want to be over 60 FPS, and without ray tracing, I want to be over 120 frames per second doing native 4K. You're gonna want to get like the best of the best, and even with a 3090 Ti, there are games where all that I just said, you can't do those things. So I understand the enthusiast mentality of, I gotta get that 4090. Like, I don't know if you did you do Clifton Super Chat?
No, I didn't do it yet.
Okay, so shout out to Clifton, the Colored Milkman, with the $5 Super Chat. He says, we on that 4090 day one. I'm looking at my 3090 like a redheaded stepchild right now, LOL. See, that's Clifton is the guy I'm just talking about right now.
well, I know. Well, listen, this, as much as we give this like a L for this presentation and what they're doing, they know they're going to sell out the moment that they release this. They know it's going to be a line at Micro Center and at Best Buy and whatever board partners still decide to work with them. Shout out to EVGA for walking out the back door on
their best GPU partner, by the way, who was exclusive to them, and who I also think is just playing games out here talking about they ain't going to anybody else.
Oh, they gonna go. So they can't just walk away from that. Was 70% of their
I see the tea leaves. The 70% of if you really weren't going to go choose another partner, then you would have laid off all of your overclocking engineers that you claimed you're not going to lay off, but you're going to keep them on and keep paying them a salary while they're doing absolutely nothing right now. Yeah, freaking right. You're negotiating, and you're using a position of, we don't need to get back into this, to try to get either Intel or AMD to offer you more money than they would have initially offered starting out. This is negotiations. They're going to end up with AMD or Intel at some point, and I would hope they would end up with Intel, just to kind of Intel so far behind AMD and Nvidia, they could use the leg up, to kind of get closer to the other two and create more competition. But either way, that's not really the point. I think
the point here that we're all trying to make is that if you want the best price to performance, go buy a 2060. That is the best price to perform, actually price to performance. Because if you go buy a 3090, right, and if we look at the what Nvidia is telling us, right? 2 to 4 times the performance, right? 3090 is only 20% more than on real world testing, by the way, real world benchmarks, not like theoretical benchmarks with DLSS and actual real world stuff. It's only about 20% better. And then the 3080 to the 3090 is about 5%. So if it's 2 to 4 times better than the 3090 for the 4090, then theoretically, if we do the math, then it is only 10 to 20%. So it's only 10% better on average than the 3080. That's not a lot.
It's not.
The price they're asking is
the-
$15.99.
Not at the high, especially when that 3090 was only 12.
You are absolutely right. But let me tell you the mentality of a lot of people, and I'm gonna include myself in this.
Mentality of a lot of people.
Do you know? Hold on. Do you know how many 3070s I've had in the past 2 years?
I know you had a 3070, you had a 3070 Ti, and now you're thinking about getting a 3080.
I had a 3070 Founders Edition. Then I swapped that with my friend and got his EVGA 3070 overclock because he didn't have the right PSU power supply to run it. Then I went and got a 3070 Ti EVGA. And I've been I've been selling the old one, the EVGA 3070 overclock. I sold that to another friend who was trying to build his PC. I gave it to him, like the retail MSRP. But like I was able to do that and then be able to like basically swap to a 3070 Ti without actually having to spend like a bunch of money on it. Now this would actually be like I am looking. This is what I want, right? I just want at least 12 gigs of VRAM. That's all I really want, because most games are running like to max a game out with the VRAM. You're looking at like 10 to 12 gigs of VRAM anyway. So if I can get 16, anywhere between 12 and 16, I'm good. And I'm happy.
Right now at my Micro Center, I'm looking at a 3090 Ti. I mean a 3090 EVGA 3090 for $959, 24 gigs.
Hey man, that thing used to be $1,700. I bought mine. I drove 2.5 hours to my nearest Micro Center.
$959 for a brand new 3090.
Brand new in box. You know what I paid for my 3090 Forte? $17.99, baby.
I bet.
$2,000 almost.
You know how much? Guess what? You know how much I paid for my 3070? My 3070 Ti? $879 because they got me because I needed to buy a new card.
And that is almost the cost of that
3090.
That 4070. I'm gonna call it the 4070. I ain't calling it the 4080. It's the 4070.
Yeah.
But look, I know people in this community, and I ain't gonna say no names. Y'all probably, some of y'all might know who I'm about to talk about, who actually switched out like a $1,200 2080 Ti, this is years ago, for another 2080 Ti that was like some custom overclocked monstrosity.
Yeah, like 7% better.
Yeah, for like 5 frames per second difference on average. And they knew it. They knew it. Look, I'm telling you, they know. Nvidia knows there are people like this, and they know that when they launch in October 12th, when they launch that 4090, it's going to sell out. It's going to, and look, remember. DLSS 3. I know the technical reason why. There's actual hardware in these cards that are allowing the DLSS 3 to be possible. Some people are calling it fake frames because they're injecting frames. Like they're theoretically determining what needs to be done in injecting frames into the games to create more frames for you. But they also designed it from the very start to not work with the 2000 and 3000 series. When they first came out with DLSS, it didn't work with the 1000 series. It only worked with the 2000 series. They know what they're doing. And what they're doing is like, you want the new hotness, you're gonna have to buy the new hotness. We're not giving
it's just
you.
like all the people that. Okay, so I am a firm believer in not jumping generation to generation because there's not a huge uplift like people think there are. Like the reason, like if you were on a like the 10 series was like God tier. That was like the God tier 10 series. It's like, you know, you was looking at that like Pascal. That was beautiful.
Pascal was a generational leap. That was the Nvidia we need.
That was the Nvidia we needed. That Pascal was like God tier, and then we got Turing, and everybody was like, "What is this? Oh, RTX. Oh, we ray tracing. Oh, it barely even does that. It was like the entry level to ray tracing with a slight uptick over 3080 to the fact that you can get a 1080 Ti that literally was outdoing most of the cards except for the very top of the highest tier when it came to that. You can get a 2080 Super, a 1080 Ti was like 5% less than that for a quarter, like just about the same amount of money. So I was sitting there like, okay, whatever. So no reason to do that. But then it came out with the 30 series, and we're like, oh, that was a massive leap. We was like, yo, if you're on a 10 series, it's worth jumping to a 30. And if you're at the top end of at the 2080 Ti, you're seeing like a huge uplift just in the 3070 tier. You saw a huge uplift. So it was like one of those other generations where you're like, this is cool that Nvidia is doing this. And they lowered prices to a point where people were like, this is crazy. I can't believe that these cards cost this much. And now look at Nvidia. Look where they are now. I cannot do this series. I have to wait to the next 50 maybe, because that might be another generational leap. I just don't see enough.
Well, look, let me explain something to you. Well, I guess this is the mindset of Nvidia, which is, you know, Jensen, the CEO. Jensen came out.
Or was it his AI partner that was on stage?
I've heard something, people saying that it was his appearance in the presentation was all AI generated. Well, who knows? But Jensen recently said, I think this may have been earlier today or late yesterday, that in response to the criticism that Nvidia has been getting about the pricing of the 4090 and 4080, he said Moore's law is dead, and he said that this idea that, you know, every 2 years the pricing of certain chips will go down, no, it ain't happening no more. And that like you continue to expect this stuff to be priced this way. I think Jensen is freaking out of his mind. I think Jensen is trying to convince us that is the case. You can't keep doing a 20% increase on costs on the cost of your products every 2 years and think that it's not going to bottom out on you eventually. People can't afford that. No matter how much people are out here saying, man, whatever, I got my money right. $2,000 for the GPU ain't nothing to me. Okay, yeah, but really what's happening in the real world is they skipped out on their rent that month. That's what really happened.
Exactly. They skipped out.
You can't keep charging more and more and more and expecting that it's just going to, the people will, like, that's not how economics work. The higher your price, the less amount of people are going to be interested in buying it at that price or even capable of doing so. Eventually you're going to break the market with that. And now I would like to see happen is AMD do something about this. AMD is in a prime position this time. I thought they were in a prime position last time, but they kind of screwed it up. But like, I think they're smoked, though. They always get smoked because they're like only got like 20% of the market, the GPU market as is. But like, and part of that is because all the other things that like Nvidia does, like with Nvidia Voice and all their amazing NVENC encoder for streaming and recording of content. The best capture card out there in the world is your own GPU, right? And DLSS, ray tracing, like they have all these other things outside of just straight up rasterization, straight up rendering of the games that are significantly better than AMD. AMD is on par with them, and it beats them in a lot of like cards that are or like compete against one another when it comes to strict rasterization. But outside of that, they don't compete, and that's the problem, right? But like AMD needs to price themselves understandably, that like they do a little bit, like they understand they'll have a product that they know is not going to sell competitively against, say, like the 3070, for example, and then they'll make it like $50 cheaper. That's not enough, AMD. Like, I understand, like, you know, like you got a business to run, but especially now with the way that Nvidia did the pricing for this, you should be taking that middle tier market in a stranglehold, because Nvidia's basically just giving it up to you. They basically marketed their entire presentation to just the upper tier. That's it. As far as like the cheaper market, for GPUs, and in the middle tier, they just said, so what? So AMD should own it.
They should, but you know.
Imagine if their card. Imagine if AMD's. What would it be? The 7700 XT, right? Or the 7700 at that point? What if the
7700 XT? Yeah.
What if their equivalent to the 4080 16 gig was like $1,000, or the same price as the 12 gig, the actual 4070? And what if it's actually better? What if it actually outperforms the 4080? It probably won't, but what if it did, right? That card would be like the premier card that everyone should get. I don't know, like I'm gonna say this, and I hope, and I know there's a lot of people who would just be like, whatever, I'm Nvidia for life, you know, I'm all green.
I am, baby. I don't care. I'll say it.
See, like,
the
software is great. I've only had Nvidia. I've never gone AMD, and I really have never actually even considered it. But I'm a content creator. I render videos. I upload videos. I do streaming. I do a lot of other stuff that requires me to need all that other extra software, the stuff that Nvidia does. Shadowplay is freaking awesome. I love it. Shadowplay is the best recording software there is for recording gameplay. It looks like it's lossless, and the fact that like I got this external capture card now, this EVGA capture card, which is, it's a decent capture card, but like the colors are so off that like it's just like, compared to what I get even from like my live gamer Avid Media 4K, which I took out because I'm gonna put it into a streaming PC, it doesn't compare to that, and that doesn't compare to what EVGA's NVIC encoder does. It's just, you know, they have a better suite of products. But if you are strictly just gaming, you just do PC gaming, you don't do any content creation, you don't stream, all you do is play games on your PC, there is no reason for you to go with Nvidia.
Oh, 100%, man. A 4080 was like the cream of the crop for 60 FPS 1080p gameplay back in 2015. All right, I championed that card to all my friends, to like everybody I knew. That card was so good for $180. It outperformed like 970, and 970 launched at like 350. All right, like that. It just it's immaculate. AMD is for the people, for the consumer, for people who just want to play games, right? Like just get their games running. It's functional, it works. Their CPUs are great, their GPUs are great. Nvidia has so much software and extra stuff that they sell with their packaging and with their suite. Like, I cannot get studio drivers on an AMD card, so therefore I would never buy an AMD card for as long as the studio drivers are up for my 3090. It's just, AMD could come out with a card that matches the performance, and the software is just not there.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm always on Nvidia.
Yeah,
and it sucks. I hate that.
Yeah, they have 70% of the market. They have 70% of the market. So it's like, if you think about, like, why are they pricing things the way they are? They can. because they
stop the leather jacket.
Who you gonna buy? It basically they look at the data, they look at their sales, they look at their record profits. They say, and what you gonna do? You gonna go somewhere else? You gonna buy? You say you're gonna buy AMD, but so far, the results say the lie detector showed that was false. You not going anywhere, and you clearly have shown that you're not going anywhere time after time, year after year. So until I would say until AMD actually competes in some of the other like areas that aren't strictly just rasterization and rendering of the games and the speed of that, until they start competing, and like they offer software. I'm not saying they don't offer software in those other areas. It's just that it's subpar compared to what Nvidia offers significantly. And they're a generation behind Nvidia in ray tracing and
super sampling.
Yeah, it's super sampling products like DLSS. They're a generation behind. They're competing and trying to be better than the 3000 series at ray tracing, where the 4000 series is already blowing that out the water kind of stuff. It's just like you're behind significantly, right? So it is what it is, man. It's like I'm not getting the 4080. At this point in time, I'm probably what I'm going to do, because I don't feel like it's really necessary to have DLSS 3 and like all that extra performance at the moment. I'm gonna wait to see what AMD drops, just so to see how the market adjusts, and then I'm probably going to grab me a 3090 Ti, and it's going to be so much cheaper at that point.
Well, that's what I was thinking at this point. It's like I'm looking at these cards and I'm like, hey, I could still sell my 3070 Ti probably for like $500, $600 at some point, and then 3090s, and I'm glad they said they're gonna still support the 30 series.
They better.
That's the card that everybody. Listen, man, they're gonna sell more of those than these four. They're gonna sell out of the 40s initially, but the price to performance of these 30 series cards are going to be so ridiculous. It's like, why not? So that's going to probably be what I was going to do. But shout out to Clifton the Colored Milkman. He said with the $4.99, he says, I camped out for a day and a half for my 3090 at Micro Center on release. I'm hoping I don't have to do that for a 4090.
I don't think you will.
You ain't gonna have to, because Micro Center does the lottery. They do the raffle at the beginning of the day for anybody that's in line before the store opens. I think they start the lottery at an hour before open, and then the lottery closes 30 minutes before open, and they give you a text message to let you know if you won. And if you win, you just go up there, pick the card that you want, and then you get in line, and you don't have to do that whole camping out thing. Just make sure, it just really just depends on how many cards they have there, because I've been at some of the lotteries before where they had like 100 cards and pretty much everybody got one. But the reason you want to like win the lottery early so you can pick the card you want, and the card that you want hopefully isn't gone. And that's how Micro Center's been doing it ever since the pandemic and stuff.
Yeah,
like
I don't think that's going to be necessary this time. The market is flooded with you. Well, no,
they're doing it.
I don't know. No. What I'm saying is, I don't think you're going to need to do that. I don't think that people are going to be out there like that for a 4090.
What, of day one? Absolutely.
I don't know, man.
Day one, people will be out there, because, like you said, the people that will be out there are the ones that you were just talking about, Slow-Mo.
Yeah, but Clifton, hold on. Clifton had to, no choice, camp out.
He's gonna be out there for, no. Did you just read it? He said, "I hope I don't have to do that for a 49."
Yeah.
Maybe
I don't
he's
think
gonna be there day one.
Well, but I don't look. If you wake up at home, get up in the morning, drive out to a Micro Center, he's probably going to still have a 4090 to get.
Yeah, it depends on how many people are there before him.
Yeah, of course, but I don't think there's going to be the same amount of people out there just desperate as they were 2 years ago, where the market was absolutely awful then, and now
I don't think that's the case.
It's better than it's been in years now. So it's
You just have to be there and open. Just put it that way.
Look, guys,
probably.
There's a promotion right now going on.
What's the promotion?
In Richmond, Virginia. There's a 3090 Ti.
Let's go.
For $1,099. At Best Buy. It is $900 off. Somebody stop me.
I'm telling you, bro.
What? Wait, hold on.
Listen, these cars did drop like a rock.
It's okay. Who makes it? Is it MSI? That sounds like an MSI card. MSI is the worst.
It's a Founders Edition card.
Oh.
And it's a 3090 Ti for it. Normally the original price is $2,000. It's going for $1,000 right now. That's pretty nice. You have no idea how many times Forte has had to talk me off the edge.
Had to talk him off the edge. He's about to go buy a new car,
bro. Because like every time Best Buy has I'm looking at it now. Oh my God! It says unavailable nearby for me. That must be the one.
Oh my God! Yeah, I see it right here.
You have to select all stores, and it'll shoot you to the nearest store. It shot me to Richmond.
Well, how do you see all stores?
It should say select. Damn it! What is it? It's in my cart, so I don't.
Oh wait! Store pickup. I see it right here.
Yeah, store pickup. See all pickup locations.
It'll
shoot you to the nearest one.
See, they still got this 3080 Ti for $900 that I've been looking at.
Oh man, they got one in Toledo for me. That's like hour and 15 minutes away.
Who knows, man? It's only $1,000 and some change, you know.
Yes.
It's an extra $100.
It's a Founders card too.
Yeah. I love the Founders cards.
God bless the
they got 3080 Ti Founders cards.
Okay, all right.
Look, up the street from me got that.
Look, we got to check this out. We got to check this out before I spend some money. Let's get this last topic and get up out of here. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella said, "I want all the smoke. I want all of it."
Black Air Forces on. Let's go, baby. Let's go. That's my CEO.
he has some words for all the talk that's been out there. I actually want to real quick play the clip that he said. I hope I'll have the sound right.
Oh, you talking about Satya when he was smiling?
Yes, it's actually hilarious.
It's good.
So this whole thing is definitely heating up when it comes to the Microsoft acquisition of Activision Blizzard. And hold on, okay, I know what I need to do. Let me do this real quick. Let me get this here, and then I'll do that. And let me switch to the other screen right there. And sorry, I'm just trying to find out how to get the audio to play. All right, here we go. Let's go.
For us in gaming,
there we go.
We have one goal, which is to bring more games to more gamers on all platforms and provide more choice for publishers everywhere and developers everywhere. And so everything that we're doing with our content, with our cloud and community really is about driving that choice and that opportunity. And so we feel very
it's a little low.
Of course, any acquisition of this size will go through scrutiny, but we feel very, very confident that we'll come out. We are number 4, number 5, depending on how you count in gaming. In fact, the number 1 player, in this case, Sony, I think even in this period has acquired 3 companies. So if this is about competition, let us have competition. Acquired 3 companies. So if this is about competition, let us have competition. Acquired 3 companies.
We'll play the good third time.
Let us have competition.
Satya is all about the smoke. which I think is absolutely amazing. And I'm happy to see it. So it's funny thing here, right? Is that
wait, before you go, because I want to go back to the last thing before you go on to this one. Clifton with the $10 super chat, he says,
okay.
my Micro Center in Madison Heights had 5 3090s on release, and I only got mine because 2 people left in front of me. I might gotta bust out that tent. I'm hoping the lottery is at my store though. Shout out to Clifton for Madison Heights, because do you mean Troy, Clifton? Because I think that Micro Center you're talking about is in Troy, and if you're talking about Madison Heights in Michigan, that means we live right next to each other, and that's the same Micro Center that I go to. So shout out to you if you're actually in Michigan and that's the same Madison Heights, bro.
Cool. You know, small world, man. Small world.
Listen, man, Michigan's a great place, man. You need to come here and move. The weather's great.
I'm
I don't know
about moving.
I'm
got
good.
that great weather right now here in Michigan, man. It was like
I've
50,
never
it's
heard
like 60 degrees
great weather
today, bro.
in Michigan in the same sentence. So I'm good. Look, I'm good,
you
man.
You can come to Oakland Mall. You know, you can come.
Can we get back on topic?
You come to one of the greatest places and have a Micro Center.
You're not selling me on. You're not selling me on Michigan. So we can let's talk about. You know, if we want to have competition, let's have competition. Let's talk about the actual the topic that's on hand. Thank you, sir. Now that I gotta play it again because you didn't completely derailed the topic, Forte. Let's do this again.
Oh yeah, I want you to play it again because it was funny.
Which is to bring more games to more gamers on all platforms, and provide more choice for publishers everywhere and developers everywhere. And so everything that we're doing with our content, with our our cloud and community, really is about driving that choice and that opportunity. And so we feel very, very confident. Of course, any acquisition of this size will go through scrutiny, but we feel very, very confident that we'll come out. We are number 4, number 5, depending on how you count in gaming. In fact, the number 1 player, in this case Sony, I think even in this period has acquired 3 companies. So if this is about competition, let us have competition.
So yeah, so quote what he said there at the end, where Sony has acquired 3 companies. So if this is about competition, let's have competition. Forte, what are your thoughts about that, man?
Listen, man, that is not Phil Spencer up on this interview in that chair saying that. That is the head, the CEO, the creme de la creme of Microsoft, Satya Nadella, saying this. And it was beautiful because I love seeing this type of energy coming from executives when it comes to stuff that they truly believe in. And people really didn't believe that Microsoft believed as much into Xbox as they actually do now. I think Phil went in there and told him, Satya was like, what are we doing here, Phil? What are we doing? And then Phil sold that man an idea, a promise. And Satya was like, I like that promise. Let's make it work. And once they saw back in when did Satya become part of the CEO? Was it like 2018? No, was it 2017 or 2016?
Oh, no, it was before then.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It was before then because Barmer been gone. That's right. Yeah, it's been a long time.
It's been about 2014, I think.
Yeah, so you got to think 2015 was the beginning where they started the whole Play Anywhere initiative, put your games on PC and all the other stuff. And I think once they test that out, then that's when Game Pass, like a year and a half, 2 years later, became a thing. So this was something that I think they definitely wanted to see how it would work. And now that they're seeing the fruits of the labor from that, Saudi is like 100% in. I mean, who would you rather have? You literally got the war chest behind you when it comes to Microsoft. So is this a big deal? Like, is a lot of people celebrating something that really is not a huge deal? Absolutely. But it is kind of a big deal when it comes from a person that's not even like homegrown Xbox. Like, it's the person that's above all that literally okays all of these checks outside of the CFO of the company. So with him being 100% behind it and talking about, if you want competition, let's have competition. That's not a gaming exec saying that. That's the top of the pyramid. So it was really interesting hearing them say that. I love it because this whole back and forth between Sony and Microsoft, especially with everything going on with these regulations and stuff. And I think this is Microsoft speaking from a point of strength and cockiness. It's like, y'all didn't think that we was really going to be in it for this. Y'all didn't really think that we were really going to innovate and stuff like that. Well, innovating for Microsoft is putting our money on the table. And some people think that's not really them doing anything special, but let's be for real. They're competing in the way that they feel like they need to compete. You know, Phil Spencer said it in his interview that, you know, Sony whooped the crap out of us last generation. So we had to figure out a way to compete. And that's what they're doing now. And guess what? They're competing in the way that they only know how, and that's to spend money in order to get the things that they want. And that's what everybody wanted. They wanted companies to be able to do stuff like this. And I love seeing and hearing the execs spew all this crazy stuff out there, because guess what? It's entertaining, it's fun, and it's good to see that these people are people just like everybody else, and they don't have, you know, sticks up their butt when it comes to people asking them generic questions and stuff about what do you think about this and what do you have to say to respond to what these people are saying about what you're doing. And it's refreshing, and I'm that's the one part of 2022 that I'm loving the most.
Di, what are your thoughts on this?
Hey man, you know, he's new boo goofing. He's stepping down, man. I mean, he's putting his foot down. You know, I respect it. I admire it. Actually, it is admirable. It is probably the best thing a CEO has said all year. Okay. Anyways, jokes. As for the shilling aside, I think that
I love how you said the shilling aside. Shout out to you.
Yeah, the shilling aside, I respect it. Again, I admire it. I mean, it's just something along the lines of like he speaks with confidence. He speaks with conviction when he says that he wants the best for his company. Obviously, he's a businessman, and he runs a business, not a soup kitchen. So right. It is one of those things where he definitely is, what's it called? He definitely is doing his best for his own interest and for the company's interest. And to be honest with you, being full force behind Xbox at the moment right now, I mean, I think that's a smart decision to be at, especially since a lot of the moves that and productivity wise that they're trying to create going forward into like 2022, 2023. I think that it's very important that Xbox is not only a branch of not only just a branch of Microsoft, but also has the lifeblood of Microsoft, not only in its corner, but also in its obviously in its business practice as well too. So yeah, everybody wanted to poke the bear. The bear's here, you know.
The bear
right, the bear definitely woke up. Shout out to Dirt Griggity with a $5 super chat. Of course, you're gonna enjoy this one. People wanted Xbox to compete. Be careful what you ask for. LOL. I love it. I got a copy of Splatoon 3 free with a purchase of a bag of peanut M&Ms.
Hey, listen. I want to see you in that next Splatfest if that's true.
yeah. Shout out to Dirt. That's a little inside joke. We were on the Attic show with the Iron Lords. Yesterday? No, Tuesday.
Oh yeah, Tuesday.
And we got into a little bit of a debate about Splatoon 3, and Forte was trying to convince us to play Splatoon 3, and me and Dirt just wasn't having it. He wasn't trying to shoot paint at people.
Don't listen to me. Listen to BG. BG been out here longer than me, and he out here got people telling that Splatoon 3.
Oh, that was yesterday. Hey, look, man.
These days is running together, Dirt. These days is running together.
I'm like Rick James out here. I hit you yesterday. I'm like, I hit you tonight. What happened?
It was yesterday, bro.
Yeah, I don't know what day it was, man. Well, I don't know what day it is today. I can barely remember. But no, shout out to Dirt, man. And ain't no way I'm playing Splatoon. You can forget that. But no, the back on topic. My thoughts on this is I like to see the fighting spirit I like to see the kid gloves are off. I never was too big a fan of the Kumbaya Microsoft. I wasn't a fan of the we just want everyone to just play games, and like we love crossplay, and we just want everyone to we just love gaming. We wouldn't take games away from your platform. Shut up. Yeah, you would. You absolutely would. Because when it came down to it with Bethesda, what did you say? These games will exist everywhere Game Pass is. And just so happened, Game Pass ain't on your comparative stuff. So it's not on your comparative stuff. So you're not putting games for everywhere for everyone to enjoy. Yeah, they're for everyone to enjoy as long as they pay their way into your ecosystem, which is it's about money. And this back and forth with Sony about this acquisition, talking to all these committees, and speaking on these interviews and speaking about competition. Yeah. Talk on how Sony does business. Talk about where you are. You said we only 4th and 5th out here. You're really scared about it. You're really scared that of us at 4th and 5th place. You went first. Come on, like I like that kind of talk. Keep speaking that, especially when your competition is saying it all, saying this is awful for gamers. This is terrible for gamers. Okay, you want to talk that talk? We'll talk that talk too. And I love to see it, but it keeps things spicy. Keep things, and I like the realness of it, honestly, because you could tell when he said it with a smile, he meant it. You keep saying that all this is about competition, and the CMA says it's about competition. All right, well then compete, because you can survive without Call of Duty. Look at Nintendo. Look at Steam. Look at all the other platforms that are profitable, successful, and don't have a single COD game on their platform. You can survive without it. You just don't want to compete. And if you don't want to compete, that's fine. But you ain't gonna tell, don't think that it's gonna be sweet out here. You can just say whatever you want.
True.
And then kind of have like this demeanor of yourself where like, oh, we're just poor Sony. You ain't poor anything. You're the number one market leader in the console market. You generate more revenue than anyone else in gaming. You're good. I don't know, maybe Tencent might, overall with their mobile stuff might be slightly more than them, but like you're fine. You're good. This won't hurt you. So I find it funny. Clifton says with the $2 super chat, are you a squid or a kid, Slow-Mo? What?
He's a squid.
What is that?
He's a squid.
A squid. You either a squid or a kid in Splatoon. You're a squid.
Why am I a squid?
Very slippery.
So what are the kids?
Not squids.
Not squids.
Okay, gotta give some more information. You know what? It's fine. I don't care.
Wait.
I don't care. I don't care.
No, you want to know. Some characters look like kids, boy or girl, and they're different colors, like different color hairstyles and different attitudes. And then you've got characters that look like squids, and you're a squid.
So why do I have to be a squid? Because I'm slippery? Is that like that's your explanation?
Well, I mean, I don't know. You didn't pick anything, so I gave you a squid.
Yeah, I prefer the squids myself.
Yeah, I do too. Actually, the squids are very, because they have they don't have, since they don't have hair. They kind of have a smaller profile.
I'm gonna tell you what I prefer. Right?
Not to talk about Splatoon 3.
No, I prefer guns.
They have
assassinations.
They're called guns. They have paint guns.
No, real guns with real bullets.
The world.
The only paint I want to see on the ground is red blood of my enemies. That's the paint I want to see all over the floor. Can I roll up behind a kid as a squid and just snap his neck? Can I assassinate him?
You can roll up behind a kid as a squid and get behind him and pump him full of paint.
Whoa, hey! This is a family pro. What are you talking about?
Hey, listen.
I was. I'm not anymore.
What is what? Yeah, just want to say
Wait,
that
oh,
Damage Per
yeah.
Second podcast does not agree with the words that Game and Forte just said. Anyone who has a problem with him coming up behind kids and doing whatever he said he was going to do, you can direct all of your concerns to him. The podcast itself has nothing to do with it.
Dorian Gray said, dude, you play Fortnite is not that big of a leap.
Yes, it is. Fortnite has real guns, okay? That's one, all right? Fortnite's also cool, Dorian. That's two. And can you do a TikTok dance in Splatoon? I don't think you can, huh? Can you put up the Wu-Tang sign and sing Cream? Huh? Can you do that? No, you can't. I don't want to hear it.
It was like, ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Yeah, the FBI definitely will be knocking on your door tomorrow. All right, let's get up out of here, man. We had an absolute great show. I would say ran through all these topics as quickly as we could. I had a lot of topics tonight, but I appreciate you guys hanging in with me. Before we get up out of here, I just want to shout out our channel members, the 10%ers. Definitely want to do that before we go. Forte, please pull up your list while you're...
Oh, yeah, I will pull up my list and shout out to Dorian Gray saying you can actually do the Dougie in Splatoon. Teach me how to Doug.
I can do that in Fortnite as well. So
it probably looks better in Splatoon, though.
No, it definitely looks better in Fortnite.
You ain't seen it.
I don't need to see it.
Unless you have secretly played Splatoon.
Well, I'm pretty sure the Dougie runs at 20 frames per second because it's on a Switch. So anyway, channel members. We got our channel members here. Before I say the names, shouting you guys out, we appreciate your support. We appreciate you guys supporting us in this way. And just thank you guys for being the awesome individuals that you are. We have Dragonheart Yobi. We have Arch War Angel, Brap Enrique, Hargi Shani, Texas, Ham Solo, Truth Serum, Big Mike, Smokes 901, Erodimus, Ramon Terrell, Homie One Kenobi, Bunty, Sir Taz, Game and Forte, Corey Hale, Stardust Acero, and that guy Smitty. And Forte, your list?
I don't have a list of people because all my people are your people.
All the same exact names?
No, not really. I think it's a couple of different ones.
Can you just say the list, man?
I'm about to tell you.
You have been extra all night long.
Shout out to the homie Ham Solo Gaming. Shout out to Texas. Shout out to I'm Rich Swag Lord. Shout out to Ramon Terrell, Hargi Chani, Sir Taz 117, Stardust Acero, Brap Basement Radio Arcade Podcast, Corey Hale, Cat Daddy Lurk, aka Elder Cat, Erodimus, the homie, Slow Mo Backslap, DJ Oris, and that guy Smitty. Really appreciate you guys. You powered the channel. It's pretty amazing that you guys support at that level, and definitely look forward to keep doing this with you guys week to week.
All right. Deli, thank you for coming through once again, sir. We always enjoy having your presence here and all the knowledge that you espouse upon us. Let everyone know where they can find you and what you got going on.
Hey everybody, thank you again TPS crew for having me back. I really appreciate me being here and showing up, and you guys letting me go on as many long-winded rants as possible. It's absolutely wonderful to be able to catch up with you, Mo and Forte, weekly, and to be able to listen to you guys talk about the gaming news. And I am going to be playing the Modern Warfare 2 beta for the rest of the weekend, both on PlayStation 5 and on PC. And I am in the process of making YouTube videos as a hobby on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Agent Deli. The best way to interact with me is on Twitter at twitter.com/Agent Deli, where all I do is talk about video games and tweet dumb stuff that I'm doing, like watching movies or listening to cool new music. So yeah, come hang out, come talk about games, and just thanks for having me here.
All right, no problem, bro. Oh, anytime you want to come through, just let us know. You're always welcome. Forte, let us know what you got going on that is something that wouldn't have the FBI coming to kick your door down.
Oh well, listen, the FBI can come kick my door all they want. They won't find anything.
Oh my.
But with that being said, make sure you drop the link for the channel member and the channel join in the chat, because I think Clifton might be on his mobile and he can't join because
I can see it on mobile. Oh, we know.
Oh, if you're in a browser, you can see it, but not if you're in the app.
What? Oh, so okay. So on iPhone, the app doesn't have. That's why.
Yeah, the app doesn't have the join button.
You know what? It's probably an Apple thing with the store. They don't want to. They don't. It's revenue they're not getting, so they don't want to give the option. Yeah. It's freaking Apple, man.
Yep. So if you're in the app, yeah. So if you want to join the channel and you're on Apple, just go to the log into your browser on your phone in Safari and then go to,
or if you have an Android phone, just
or if you have an Android phone, you could just do it straight from the app. But we'll make sure that we put that in the description and drop it in the chat during the show, because that is a thing that does happen. But also make sure you guys go over to the DPS channel where we upload the past broadcasts and stuff when it comes to some of the topics and stuff. Try to get that channel to 1,000 so we can migrate everything over there as time happens. But
right, there's supposed to be a video over there, but there's no video.
Actually, it's rendering right now. It's 45 minutes long because it was a long topic. But I was actually doing the editing on it as we were doing the show. So multitasking. So be quiet. But
it should have been out. So you be quiet.
Oh, I thought, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah, okay, exactly.
I will take fault for it. So okay, whatever. But no, for myself, Gaming Forte everywhere: YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live, PlayStation. DPS will be on my channel next week, so make sure you head on over there for that. And sub to the channel if you like Destiny content and stuff like that. That's where I basically just talk about all that stuff over there. And take it away from Slow-Mo because he can't stand that game. But outside of that, you guys have a great week. Enjoy the games you're playing, enjoy your weekend, and enjoy just being a gamer.
Cool. And as for me, hey, look, probably another lunchtime with Slow-Mo coming soon. I have an idea for a video. I'm working on it. This video is going to be a little bit different. It's a little bit change of pace, a little bit of a thought piece about skill-based matchmaking in video games and the various arguments for and against it. So look out for that soon. I kind of want to make sure that I cross all the T's, dot all the I's before I drop it, but it'll be coming soon. Outside of that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. I know it's pretty late. But enjoy your Friday tomorrow and your weekend, and of course enjoy playing your games. And we're out. Peace.
We'll be a TikTok.
Eyes of Guardian.
Wipe yourself off, man. You did?
Eyes of Guardian.
Wipe yourself off, man. You
Eyes of Guardian.